Well, the rumored PlayStation State of Play is happening, and it's today on the 24th. If you're watching this video later, I may be co-streaming it. We have some rain. My soccer practice with my kiddos and my girls might get canceled, so I may be co-streaming it. If I'm not able to co-stream it, I'll give my reaction to it tomorrow in a show with you guys. Some big expectations, which is what I want to talk about right now. I want to talk about the first-party expectations. I've got my man Jin Sakai on the thumbnail because we're all kind of trying to wish and to will into existence an announcement about Ghost of Tsushima 2, which I'll talk about in a moment, you know, some of my own predictions. But I do want to walk through some of the expectations of things that seem very likely that we will see. We also have an official list of all of the games that will be present with PlayStation at Tokyo Game Show, and some of them may make an appearance. But if you like this kind of content, you want to be here for those live streams, live discussions, as well as those live co-streams. I almost never miss live events. This one just landed in a strange time. Usually State of Plays are Wednesdays and Thursdays, but because of Tokyo Game Show, I think they're doing it earlier in the leak. So here's the thing. I think one of the first things we're going to see is the rumored, but now pretty much confirmed, Horizon Zero Dawn remaster. This is one of their bigger pieces of property. I think a lot of what they're going to do with this State of Play is also emphasize PS5 Pro enhancements. That's one of the reasons I think we're going to see a Horizon Zero Dawn remaster, as well as the other one that we heard about, which is the Days Gone remaster. And again, we just discussed this week, just yesterday. Why are they remastering these games? And essentially, I argued these remasters are not for you. Roughly 20 million people who have purchased a PlayStation 5 did not own a PlayStation 4, which it stands to reason a lot of those people probably have not had a PlayStation before, or not for a very long time. And PlayStation is trying to meet those new customers. They want them to be able to establish their library. They're not like you. You've already played these games. You've already experienced these games during the PS4 era, and it just doesn't make sense to you. So we discussed that yesterday. These games are not for you. And if they do make an appearance, I wouldn't be surprised if they show up and have some emphasis on the fact that they are PS5 Pro enhanced, because we know that the Pro, you know, goes live this week for pre-orders the first day of Tokyo Game Show. So that'll be, I think, one of the first-party appearances. Another first-party appearance that I think we can expect to see is the Lego Horizon game. I think this is going to be there. I think this is going to potentially finally get a release date. I'm not quite sure why they're waiting to do the release date. Maybe, again, they just wanted to kind of keep some of the announcements to themselves and, you know, use it during their own State of Play or during a Tokyo Game Show appearance. So I would expect we're finally going to hear something about this game with respect to its release date. I think this one's going to obviously be pretty fun and pretty charming. Now, another one, I didn't grab a trailer for this one for you, but I think Assassin's Creed Shadows will likely be in this State of Play in some capacity as well. It is going to be one of the PS5 Pro enhanced games. Assassin's Creed does have pull. It does have a lot of notoriety. I know all the debates about AC Shadows that are happening. I don't think that's largely going to affect the game's commercial success. I also don't think it's necessarily going to hurt the game's quality either. I've seen some pretty cool sword fighting from No Way. I was anticipating maybe mainly playing as the samurai, but some of her sword fighting looks really, really fun. As a fan of Tsushima, I'm anxious to see how they differentiate the games in that regard. So AC Shadows will likely be there to show off the PS5 Pro. And on the theme of like non-first party appearances to show off the PS5 Pro, there is the Hogwarts Legacy Director's Cut that apparently got leaked by Bloomberg and has been confirmed to exist. And they used Hogwarts Legacy in their PlayStation 5 Pro video with Mark Cerny from a couple of weeks ago, or maybe, 2 weeks ago. It was like the 9-minute video. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if there has been some sort of a marketing deal struck between the companies, especially if they're working on enhancing the ray tracing and doing more with the game on the PlayStation 5 Pro. So I would anticipate this potentially being at the showcase or at the State of Play as well. And we do know there is a stage thing planned, something pretty big for Death Stranding 2. So I would anticipate Death Stranding 2 potentially being a part of this State of Play. If not, we're definitely going to hear from Kojima and the team this week for this game. one of the, I think, better looking games we have seen so far, really showing off the power of the Decima engine. I don't know if they're ever going to license out the Decima engine for more people to use it, but oh man, that would be awesome, because I think this engine's just got a lot of chops, a lot of moxie, and then it really, really can leverage DLSS well. We've seen that in the past. So they've already shown us a ton of Death Stranding 2, so I would anticipate maybe more gameplay, maybe something new. Then sort of back under the hood of thinking about first-party presence, I think it's time to finally get a Spider-Man 2 DLC announcement. This is also probably something that got pushed back for PS5 Pro enhancements. That would be sort of my anticipation there, that they went and took some of these games and kicked them further down the road. We know internally they delayed some games and some things, and this is probably one of those things. Spider-Man 2 was a part of the PS5 Pro presentation. That's a really great way to bring people back to the game, to see all those great PS5 Pro enhancements, is to release a DLC. There's a lot of, I think, significant and heavy hints within the Spider-Man 2 game that there will be more content and there will be some DLC. Now, in the realm of first party, though, I really don't have any guesses outside of Ghost of Tsushima 2. Now, during a state of play like this, I'm just going to make a prediction. If Ghost of Tsushima 2 is a part, it will likely be a teaser trailer at the end of the state of play, potentially giving us a wink and a nudge, or even a statement like, look for more during Tokyo Game Show. This is only like a 30-minute, like 30-plus minute presentation with 20-something games. So at the very end, I could see them doing sort of a fade to black, and you hear, the music, and it fades up, and we get a Ghost of Tsushima trailer that's more of a teaser that just confirms Jin Sakai is back, and then they might say, hey, we look forward to sharing gameplay with you this week at Tokyo Game Show. I could see them doing something like that. I'm not necessarily thinking that there's going to be a big first-party presence at this state of play. There's also not going to be a big first-party presence at Tokyo Game Show. I'm going to explain why I think that's going on in a moment. Confirmed games that will be a part of PlayStation, during Tokyo Game Show is Monster Hunter Wilds, Dynasty Warriors Origins, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, Infinity Nikki, Sonic X Shadows Generations, Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. Okay, that's all third party. Okay, there's also going to be some first party there. Astrobot will be there. Maybe they'll have Tsushima there as a surprise, or Spider-Man 2 DLC there as a surprise. They don't want to confirm those things, obviously, ahead of time. People are seeing the confirmed list, and they're kind of panicking. And it's like, well, if they do have announcements for Spider-Man 2 DLC or a Ghost of Tsushima, or maybe, something from Ben's studio, one of the guys tweeted, hey, time to get back to work. Maybe they're done with whatever it is they've been working on, and we're finally going to get to see it. That also could show up. Ben could be there. I think all of this is related to a rumored 30th anniversary showcase or show in early December. Early December, I think December 3rd, is the official 30th anniversary of PlayStation. And they just unveiled the PlayStation 5, the controller, the Edge, the Portal, the PlayStation 5 Pro, all with 30th anniversary versions. Everybody went a little crazy, got really excited. Nostalgia is a heck of a drug. Even the boxes look pretty cool compared to the original PlayStation 1. So I actually think there's a pretty high probability that rumor is true. That in December, they're going to do a big showcase, and that's when they're going to really start talking about what some of the first-party studios have been working on, while also kind of celebrating how far everything has come for the company, for the brand. 30th anniversary, it's kind of a big one. And so that could be something that they're sandbagging for, because I thought, Tokyo Game Show, they're finally going to show up and start talking first party. But it's looking like they are once again going to heavily lean on third party. Now, this is frustrating, obviously, to some of us who just finally want to hear what the first party studios are working on. But PlayStation has had a very strong year with mostly third and second party games, or just having exclusives like Stellar Blade, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and other games like that, where they're not even having their studios make them. They've had a strong year by doing that, so I don't think they're going to shy away from that. With their dominance within the next-gen console landscape, and the PS5 Pro even giving them even more strength and power, potentially bringing more developers over to wanting to primarily build for their platform, I think we're going to see this going forward. I really do think that PlayStation's going to continue to keep their first-party studios extremely close to their chest. They're only going to walk them out when they need to. They're only going to walk them out when their game is extremely close to coming out. I don't think we're going to see this barrage. Like, people are hoping for just a monsoon of, oh, they're finally going to show us a bunch of first-party. I really don't know if they're ever going to do that. That doesn't seem to be their style. They did that at the beginning of this generation to basically foster confidence and forecast confidence for people, like, hey, you want to get a PlayStation 5. But if you look at the sales trajectories of the PS5, if you look at what's been happening with no longer their competitor in Xbox is no longer competing in the console landscape. We know this. PlayStation is likely saying, we don't need to do that anymore. We've won that fight. We can now bide our time. We can take our time. So I continue to think, if you're hoping for a showcase in the future where it's just a non-stop barrage of first-party announcements, I don't think they're going to do that. If they do, I'll be excited because that's something that I want. I don't think the general consumer cares. I don't think the general consumer knows that Helldivers 2 and Stellar Blade are not first-party studios. Like, I don't think the average consumer cares about these sorts of things. So PlayStation, knowing that in their own market research, is probably going to continue to keep those first-party studios under wraps. My prediction going forward for the second half of this generation is that we never get more than 2 or 3 first-party games a year. I don't think you're ever going to have a year where they drop like 4, 5, or 6 or something like that. I think it's always going to be 2 or 3. You'll probably get one in the first half, one in the second half, maybe something smaller, maybe a DLC in the middle, or any order really. But that's what I think they're going to be doing, and I think it's because they can. And I honestly think while that is frustrating, I would rather have games take their time and come out at quality than come out at some predetermined cadence and not run well. We saw this with Jedi Survivor. Disney wanted a new Star Wars game every 6 months. Jedi Survivor came out arguably a year before it even should have, and it was in terrible state. It took a really long time to fix. It still really isn't even up to snuff on PC. That game should not have come out when it did. I would much rather games be hidden and unseen and come out at quality than constantly get announcements and then the games get delayed anyway, or constantly get announcements, the games hit their cadence that they're supposed to hit, and then they're not at quality. So it's frustrating. I don't like not knowing what's going on. I don't like PlayStation sandbagging their first party and heavily leaning on third party, but it's working for them, and when something's working for your company, I don't expect them to change anytime soon. So those are my expectations for the State of Play, as well as this rumored 30th anniversary show that they might do in December. So that's everything that I think, and now it's time to hear what you think. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. There's already over 600 of you here, so take a quick second and smash that like button. Let's set our sights on having 200 likes faster than ever. We already have over 100, and so let's go for the next milestone. And I'm going to have to thank some of you for supporting the channel already this morning with some fan funding. Han shot first, and so did you. Joker Quinn with the first gifted member of the day takes us to 63. We're a little bit behind pace, but we can turn that around today. Mike S. renews, and he is a 16-month renewal. Thank you for that. Member Pluses count towards this, so consider upgrading to Member Plus. When you do that, it counts as 2. Upgrades count as 2 because we're trying to really hit those new milestones for Member Plus and above. Because Alfonso renewed at 7 months, and so did Wolf Saints. So that's 2 more, taking us to 66. And then Ikagang with the super chat says, PlayStation has become complacent due to lack of competition. I think projecting complacency on a company is weird. I don't see signs of complacency. I don't. They ensured that as a PlayStation 5 owner this year alone, you had like 6 to 7 console exclusives that you could buy and play. And they've all been very good. With the exception of what happened with Concord, this has been a great year. I've played a bunch of games, and I've had fun in every single one of them. I don't see signs of complacency at all. This idea that because their first-party studios didn't do anything this year with the exception of Astrobot, that, like, that's a sign of complacency. It's like the industry runs on third party. It does. An upgrade from Mac Attack, that counts as 2. That bumps the line to 68. Every single time you guys upgrade to Member Plus, it really helps. And then every month you renew a Member Plus, it counts as well. Another great reason to upgrade. 8-Bit Dad with 18 months and Darren with 3 months. They bumped the line to 70. Thank you for those renewals, and a 2 spot from Sneaky Wolf. I think Wolverine will be there. I don't know about Wolverine. I feel like they'll hold Wolverine under their hat a little bit longer, but we'll see. You could be right. Can't ask for more than 6 exclusives in 1 year. Right, like, you've created new goalposts to say they're like, oh, they're complacent. Like you once said, Sony are creatively bankrupt. I never said that. I don't have many hopes for anything awesome today. Yeah, I've never said they're creatively bankrupt. People who say they're creatively bankrupt, we had that debate yesterday, and the guy said, oh, he thinks Nintendo is better. And I'm like, okay, Nintendo's biggest hits are retreads of existing property. And they innovate within them and they're creative within them, like with Tears of the Kingdom or like with Super Mario Bros. All-Stars, demonstrating that there's no creative bankruptcy at PlayStation at all. If you think they're bankrupt, then where do you go for your games? What games are you playing? Where are you playing? What games do you think are so much better and so much more deserving of praise? If PlayStation's the one that's not doing it, who's doing it for you? You're arguing against an ideal. And a 5-bomb from Alex takes us to 75. Like, I'm going to continue to ask people, like, you're allowed to think that. I want to know why you think it. Where are you going? What's this ideal that you're arguing against? You absolutely did? No, what you are saying is completely and utterly false. I said yesterday to a guy, explain to me why you think PlayStation is creatively bankrupt. We went back and forth because I didn't agree with him. You are misrepresenting what I said. Let me guess. You saw a clip of somebody misrepresenting what I said, right? I went back and forth with somebody for 20 minutes yesterday, arguing with somebody who thought they were creatively bankrupt. Did you see a clip ripped out of context to make it seem like I said that? Because I didn't say that. Go watch the stream from yesterday. I said, I don't think they're creatively bankrupt. I think they've been delivering great games. What are you talking about? And I asked him, I said, where do you go for the opposite of creative bankruptcy? And the guy said, Nintendo. Someone clipped you? Surprise, surprise. You saw a clip that misrepresented what I said so that somebody could claim I said something that I didn't. You're a liar and so are they. I don't have respect for you or them. I didn't say that. I didn't say that PlayStation was creatively bankrupt. I didn't say that at all. I didn't mean yesterday. I meant in the last. I wasn't here yesterday. I'll go have to watch yesterday's. Where did I say that they're creatively bankrupt? What was the stream? What was the topic? It shouldn't be hard. If you think that I said that, where did I say it? Where did I say that they're creatively bankrupt? You should be able to tell me where I said it. Was it Astro? I would never have said that about Astro. Not many new IPs, though, except Returnal. Yes, that's the reward of successful new IPs. Horizon Zero Dawn was incredibly successful, so they made a second one. I bet it was Astro. I never said that about Astro. The first trailer for Astro, I said, that's going to be a hit. I said, that's going to be a hit. And, oh, you guys are talking about the guy on Twitter. I thought you were talking about the game Astrobot. I was like, I never said that about Astrobot. He never said that. He doesn't even say that about Xbox and Nintendo. Yeah, I didn't say Nintendo was creatively bankrupt. I said they work within their existing franchises and make great games. Like, the guy argued yesterday that those games were creative, and therefore that means you can have sequels within an existing franchise that are creative and innovative. We had this debate this morning in Morning Coffee. I do not ascribe to the idea that newer is obviously better, right? I don't do that. I don't ascribe to that. According to this person, you did about the Astrobot thing, right? Listen, if you're following people on Twitter whose day-to-day behavior is psychopathic dishonesty, and you want to come into my content and tell me that I said something that I didn't say, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You're following mentally ill people who psychopathically lie about me every day, multiple times a day. Seething, hate watching, and free advertisement for me. If that's where you're getting your information about me, you're an idiot. Like, you're dumb. You're literally following somebody that's mentally unwell. Like, look at their timeline. There's no reason to be using that as your source of information about a person. That shows a lack of intelligence. That tells me that you're very dumb. And I don't have respect for you. Like, I don't. You're low life if that's what you're doing. I don't have any respect for those people. They're not men. They are absolute degenerates. I don't know why any of you even pay attention to them. You should block and move on. Absolute degenerate lowlifes. The fact that they get attention is because creatively impotent people can't make their own YouTube content without parasitically using what other people create. Like, that's the only reason those people make those clips, is because creatively impotent YouTubers like to use the clips because they can't create content on their own. Like, I don't know why you give these people the time of day. They're degenerates. They're lowlifes. Why are you mad? I'm not. I'm telling somebody that, like, I never said that they're creatively bankrupt. That's just complete misquote. A 5-spot from Jesse Ritchie. We're getting a remaster of Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2. Let's go. Why not copyright strike them? Copyright striking is not there for people to use against people that make videos about them. Copyright striking is there to protect copyright protected content. I would never do that. That's not what that's there for. So yeah, I didn't say that. So I don't think that. I also don't think that sequels are bad. I don't think sequels are bad. I'm excited to play sequels. Like, when I play a really, really good game, I want to play another one. Like, when I played Horizon Zero Dawn and I got to the end, I wasn't like, dude, that was great. I hope I never play that game, that in that game world ever again. Like, when I got to the end of Ghost of Tsushima, I wasn't like, bro, that was a great experience. One of the best games I've ever played. I hope they never do anything with this game again. Like, I'm different than the people that think, oh yeah, you need to go to new. So, like, Horizon Zero Dawn comes out and is, like, really, really popular, very successful, and Guerrilla's just supposed to say, all right, forget that, let's make a new game. God of War 2018 comes out, super successful, everyone loves it, award-winning, and, you know, they're just supposed to say, yeah, let's just leave that where it is, let's just make a brand new game. Let's just stop making, you know, God of War. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, this idea that people think that, like, sequels are a sign of creative bankruptcy, it's like, I feel like your analysis is bankrupt. It's like, they made really great games, so they're going to make more. I think AOZ nailed it this morning in Morning Coffee. I love world building so much. That's why I love new IP. I love learning about the rules of the universe. Right, and once that's established in the first Horizon, those elements are absent in the second game, so you're like, yeah, this isn't as good as the first one. Well, that's a preference thing, right? Like, I enjoyed the second one because they were able to deepen the story and the characters in the world, because now they don't have to world build. It's like they're able to sort of free up time spent with the story to be like, we don't really need to do world building now, we can just kind of continue on with the story. They're going to be able to do the same thing with Jin Sakai. We're all presuming and assuming that there's a Ghost of Tsushima too. By that logic, Rockstar is creatively bankrupt because they only focus on GTA. Right, Nix, they will never lobby these arguments at anybody else because they're bad faith. They're disingenuous arguments. Like, it's not an argument rooted in a real principled position. It's an argument rooted in hate. They don't like the platform. They don't like seeing it be successful. So they make up these weird duct taped together goalposts to be like, we're better, like, or they're bad. Like, it's like, well, that's why I asked the guy yesterday. My new thing now is, okay, you're free to think that. You're free to think that. You can think that PlayStation is creatively bankrupt. I want you to tell me how you came to that conclusion. What brought you to that conclusion? What games are you playing? What platform are you supporting? Where are you going for this ideal, this creative archetype, this creative paragon? Where is it? I want to know. I want to know where you go to game. Where do you hang your gaming hat? If the PlayStation games are creatively bankrupt, then buddy, I want to see what you're playing. because I've really enjoyed virtually every first-party studio game this gen. I've enjoyed the exclusives as well. Stellar Blade was awesome. It's like my favorite game this year, slightly tied with Astrobot. Loved it. The combat was just so great in that game. Like, where are you going? Where is the creative paragons in the gaming world? What are you playing? I hang mine above the secret areas. I wouldn't say that Sony's creatively bankrupt, says Infinite. I think they're actually really creative action games, but I don't think their games offer mechanical depth. The bigger RPG open world games offer that. That's a preference thing. Yeah, and you seeing that as a preference thing I think is helpful, because it basically means you know where to go to get that, and you're not going to get that in Horizon Forbidden West. You aren't, and that's okay. You're not going to get that level of depth in a game like that. With that logic, FromSoft's creatively bankrupt. This is why I make them tell me what they're playing, Trill. Some of them are dumb enough to fall for it. A lot of them won't. Right? You would like Astrobot. It seems like a really funny money grab for older people who look for nostalgia. Yeah, it's a lot of nostalgia for me as someone who literally didn't get into PlayStation until the PlayStation 4, and I bought God of War and Spider-Man. Yeah, so much nostalgia. No, I bought it because I loved Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and I love those types of games, and my kids have also really enjoyed it. So, you can shoot a Nerf dart at a pop can and claim that you're a sharpshooter, but you really missed there. That wasn't at all, like, accurate description of why I liked Astrobot. I'm a mega latecomer to PlayStation. There was no nostalgia for me at all, except for when, like, Aloy and God of War showed up. But how is that nostalgia? I played those games in, like, recent years. I didn't, like, grow up with them. No PS2? No. People think I'm some dyed-in-the-wool pony. I was an Xbox guy. I was heavy into PC. I was building my own PCs during, a lot of the people that make fun of me were still wetting the bed, and I was playing Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament and building PCs. I got tired of that, and I came back to console with the 360. We were a Nintendo family. So I came back to consoles with the 360 and built my library from the 360 all the way up to the Series X. I mained Xbox. I started maining PC in like 2017, 2018 because I played Destiny and I wanted 60 FPS. So I started maining PC for Destiny and for Fortnite because that's where I was playing my games. And then I was going to come back to maining consoles with Series X because of all the promises they made. So a lot of what you've heard about me and a lot of what people say about me in their videos and Twitter, they're just liars. Like, I'm telling you, if you spend 5 minutes here, ask me some questions, ask me the games I've grown up with, the games I've played, the games I like, most of what you've seen on Twitter and YouTube, they're just liars. They can't engage in good faith. They're dishonest people, so they just make things up. Like that, they just make up fan fiction about me. Like, they're basically obsessed. They have like some kind of derangement syndrome. Like they're obsessed with me and make up fan fiction about me. It's like I'm the worst pony that there is. Like, I'm the worst alleged pony that there is. They just got their fifis hurt because I saw that Xbox was sucking a lot earlier this gen than they were willing to admit. That's the truth. I saw Xbox being awful. I was like, they're being awful. Where's the frickin' games? What's going on? And because I disagree with the acquisition, I got labeled as a pony by a bunch of bleed green morons who wanted the acquisition and couldn't admit that Xbox was sucking wind this gen. Well, now they'll all admit it because what else are you going to do? There's no priority to the console. There's no priority to the console owner. There's no priority to the power narrative that they walked out. Just admit it. They suck, and they suck the entire gen. And because I said it earlier than them, they hated on me. Well, now they want credit for saying it. You get no credit. You get nothing. You get nothing. So if you think I'm a pony, it's because you believe liars. Like, I literally came into this gen and was like, I bought a Series X first. I was like, that's where all my games are. I didn't get a PS5 first. It's just fan fiction, bro. It's like people that get obsessed with Star Wars and write up their own fan fiction because they want this person to marry this person. They want me to be that. They need me to be that. So they make up stories and they misrepresent and they obfuscate and clip farm and misframe the clips. Just let them. Who the frick cares? I've been doing this long enough to know that the truth always wins. These people fade to nothing with time. Because anybody that comes and watches, spends 5 minutes on the channels and be like, this guy's not a pony. He calls stuff that PlayStation does stupid and dumb and criticizes some of their decisions. That's not a pony. That's not how ponies operate. Ponies also don't cover Xbox. They cover PlayStation all the time. Yeah, I saw Upper's video. And here's the thing. I don't like PlayStation's approach to not at all showing first party. It drives me nuts. I don't like it. But I'm also smart enough to know I'm not the target consumer. I'm not the primary consumer. They've got me. I'm in. I've got all your hardware. I love what you're doing. I love your content. I'm not going to go anywhere because you won't show me a trailer. Right? Like, I don't like it. It's irritating. I would have liked them to do a showcase in the summer when everybody else is doing their showcases. That's what I wanted. I was like, I want a showcase. And when you don't do a showcase, I think they should explain what's going on to people. Everybody's doing showcases during that week, and they did a state of play. I don't like that. I don't defend it. I think it's frustrating. It's like, what the frick are you guys doing? And then they're going to go to Tokyo Game Show and they're going to heavily lean on third party again. Do you want to know why they're doing that? Because it's working. They're a business. They're going to be pragmatic about it. They're not going to be like, oh, well, somebody on Twitter said that we're failing and not showing enough first party. We better get a trailer out there. No, they're going to keep doing this because it's working. Like Zubair is saying, there's no pressure on them to say anything. They won the fight handedly. When they started this gen, you can literally track it. Like, go back and look at how this generation started. Okay? They did a showcase. I believe the count was 26 games. And a lot of those games were first party. And what they're doing when they're doing that is they're forecasting strength. You want to buy a PlayStation 5. Why? Because this is where we're going. They forecast strength. As the generation goes, and they pull ahead, and ahead, and ahead, and ahead, and ahead, and they're going to end up being like, what, between 2 and 3 to 1 against Xbox, and they're going to surpass PlayStation 4? Do you know what they say? We don't need to do that anymore. Now we can intersperse our games. We can lean on third party. We can space out our games. We can let our studios take their time. I think they internally delayed a bunch of games and even probably the Spider-Man 2 DLC to make them PS5 Pro enhanced. It's not working because of this. It's working in spite of this. Well, no, I think it's working because think about it, Angels. When the average consumer watches a showcase, like remember the showcase last year? Remember the showcase? And everyone cried and whined because there was no first party. It didn't affect PlayStation at all. The following month, they had amazing revenue. Why? Because the average consumer watched a PlayStation showcase and they don't know what first party is. They don't know what third party, second party, first party, my party, your party. They don't know what any of that means. The average consumer watched that showcase and was like, yep, there's a lot of games coming to my console. It's like, I think we keep forgetting that we are so small in the grand scheme of the gaming universe that the marketing is not at all catering to us. And we don't like it. It frustrates us. Hang on, I have to think of Super Chat. Will Broke Boy with a $5 Super Chat says, you think the current lack of first party was due to Jim Ryan's shift to focus on live service games? Now studios have to catch up with other games. No, because if you go look at the financial forecasting, no. They were increasing their spending in traditional first-party, narrative-driven, single-player games to be higher than it ever was. And then they were also increasing their funding into live service. So that's factually not possible Because Jay Paul's agreeing with you most definitely. No, that's not possible. They forecasted an increase in spending in traditional single-player narrative-driven games to a higher threshold than it's ever been. They've never spent that amount of money on the traditional first-party narrative-driven games before, ever. It's higher than it's ever been historically. It's not an either-or situation. Like, I think a lot of people think, oh, PlayStation's trying to do live service, so now all these studios don't have games for us. That's not what happened. Tsushima's 2 is almost assuredly coming to the market. Cory Barlog's working on something. Guerrilla's got multiple projects. Bend is working on something. Like, Bluepoint's working on something. We know all these studios are working on things. They weren't suddenly told, hey, stop working on that, make a live service game. Because again, according to their own financial forecasting, they were increasing their spending in that category, not live service, in the traditional category, to a higher threshold than it's ever been. Increasing spending doesn't necessarily mean more games. The budgets for these games are growing every year. Right, but it stands to reason, Mediocre Milton, that if they're increasing the spending in both, one's not cannibalizing the other. Like, I also think 1 year of first party being light and making everybody think like, there's got to be a reason, there's got to be a cause. I think the most obvious cause is the PlayStation 5 Pro. When we learned in that one financial report that they had like internally delayed games, and some of the insiders were like, I don't know why some of these games weren't the showcase. There are games that are ready to go right now. That to me doesn't sound like, yeah, live service came in and broke up everything and everything's ruined now and they have to play catch up. I think the PlayStation 5 Pro had a breakthrough and they said, look, we need studios to leverage this, push all your games back, so that when this thing hits the ground running, we have an ocean of first-party games that are going to get the bump, and then we have new games that will display the bump as well. That's what I think happened. It's like they knew they didn't need to push out whatever it was. It's been 2. Spider-Man 2 was last year. I mean, I guess you could say it's been 2 years because Spider-Man 2 was last year, and then they did Burning Shores. And then they did the first party release for the PSVR2, Call of the Mountain, and then they again relied on what is essentially like a second party relationship with Final Fantasy 16. So yes, they bumped something that year. That was reported, I think, at the end of the year. I think we saw a financial report that they had internally delayed something, and we're not really sure what it was. We also know, according to Tom Henderson, they had games ready to go that weren't at the showcase, and he was kind of bewildered. He was like, what on earth is going on? So I don't know if they internally said, we want these things to be good ambassadors for the Pro, or maybe they saw the financial forecasting and thought, we're up year over year, we don't need these, we're doing so well, let's push them. Is Ghost of Tsushima 2 coming out? The assumption is that yes, that's what Sucker Punch has been working on. We don't have hard confirmation. I'm hoping that we get some tonight at the State of Play. Shouldn't there be an equal amount of first party, second party, and third party games for each event? Why? Why would that be your expectation? Why? You got 7 exclusives this year. Why? Like, I want to know. I'm trying to research this. I'm trying to track this down. I'm trying to be like Sherlock Holmes here. Where did the obsession come from with first party? Where did it come from? I've never seen this before until this year. All of a sudden, it was talked about a little bit last year. This year more than ever because it's been all third and second party. Why? Why does that matter all of a sudden? PlayStation is investing in relationships and brokering deals that got you 6 to 7 exclusives this year. Why do you care who owns the studio? Why does that matter to you? Was Helldivers 2 fun? Was Stellar Blade fun? Did you enjoy Rise of the Ronin? What about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? What about Grand Blue Fantasy Relink? Did you have fun with those games? Did you play those games? Like, why do you care about who owns the studio? Where did that come from? That doesn't matter to me. Consoles have always been about first party. No, they haven't. Historically speaking, when the exclusives battles were happening, Paul, they were not first party games. The battles over Call of Duty and when Tomb Raider had their timed exclusive, the exclusive battles were always about non-first party games. That's where the battle lines were drawn. I don't understand. Like, why do you care? That was 40 years ago? Yeah, if you're talking about the era of, like, Nintendo, maybe. But during the Xbox One and the PS4 era, no one was talking about this. It was always about the exclusives. Always. Sonic versus Mario proves you wrong? What do you mean that proves me wrong? We haven't been in the Sonic versus Mario era in forever. You think Genesis versus Nintendo is demonstrative of how the market got to where it is today? That's ancient history, bro. Exclusives were always the battle. It was like Destiny had exclusives on PlayStation. Call of Duty had exclusives here. I remember when Call of Duty had exclusives on Xbox. I remember getting the Ripper. It was like an SMG that could also be an AR or something like that in Call of Duty era. You know, that was back when, you know, Xbox was getting the Call of Duty exclusives. I remember it being a battle for the exclusives. It wasn't a battle of the first party. And that was never even a term that I had heard. I was never like, first party? I was like, what? Why do you care about that? Are you getting exclusives? Are you getting games on the platform like that you can't get anywhere else? I want to know why that suddenly matters to you. Did you have less fun this year? Did you have less fun this year because you played games that Sony doesn't own the studio? Did you own Helldivers a little bit more than Stellar Blade because Sony owns the IP of Helldivers? Does that like add to your enjoyment? I'm genuinely trying to understand why people care about this. Zubair says, in an era where 7 video game companies existed, yes, first party was really important. Now, 7 video game companies were started as I typed this. Yeah, it was in Ghosts. Yeah, Call of Duty Ghosts, the frickin' Ripper. Yeah, that was an exclusive. How many third-party deals have Xbox had this gen? That's why third-party doesn't count now, according to these Xbox guys. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to me that one of the things that's constantly praised about Game Pass is how many games you get. How populated how populated has Game Pass been traditionally last couple of years with first-party? Hasn't the lion's share of what you've been getting on Game Pass been third-party games? That's still valuable to you, isn't it? Isn't it? My daughter played Little Kitty Big City. Is that a first-party game? Like, isn't one of the things consistently talked about is we're eating good on Game Pass, right? Look at all these games on Game Pass. What has been the overwhelming majority of games hitting Game Pass for the last 4 years? Has it been first party? No. It's been third party, and that's okay. Like, it doesn't diminish your experience in the game if the game is good. Eric with 2 spots. Sony's leaned in on Asian combat too much this gen. I'm not quite sure what you mean. I didn't feel that at all in Spider-Man or Returnal or Ratchet or God of War. I mean, surely I felt that a little bit in Ronin and Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade didn't necessarily feel that way. Stellar Blade felt more adjacent to like Sekiro, which I guess you could say that's like Japanese combat, but like, are you talking like a JRPG, like Final Fantasy 16, where like you swing the sword a bunch and there's numbers pouring out? Because I didn't feel like Stellar Blade. Yeah, what is Asian combat anyway? Are you referring to like, that's I guess what I'm trying to get down to is like, are you talking about like JRPG style where it's very, very flashy, flamboyant, and there's like numbers pouring out of the enemy? Or are you talking, what exactly are you talking about? Are you talking about like they're Asian games that like take place in Asian culture? Will Brokeboy Lewis with a $5 super chat says, first party is fanboy response to back in 2022 when Xbox had third-party exclusives, PlayStation fanboys' response was third-party doesn't matter. It's all about first-party. What third-party exclusive? Yeah, I'm not sure what he's referring to. Asian combat is when swords? So, what? He's talking about samurai? I mean, there certainly has been a trend of wanting to go to, like, feudal Japan and, you know, having samurai and, you know, ninjas, and that certainly has shown up a little bit. But I don't feel like you're saying Sony's leaned into that too much. I don't see evidence of that at all. This year, even this year, it's like Rise of the Ronin, and I mean, I guess you could say that there was definitely, you know, Japanese game design influences, and obviously it was very present in a game like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Ronin, and Stellar Blade. Yeah, and then Wukong, but Wukong was... Wukong was definitely in sort of like the FromSoft, like melee-based combat. So, I mean, I guess you could say that has like an Asian feel to it, but like, who cares? Like, there were so many good games this year. Why does that matter? Like, if you enjoy more Western approaches to combat, like, I feel like Western developers typically, maybe not even Western, but like the more traditional approach to like action adventure combat, you know, if that's what you prefer, that's fine. I think there's plenty of games that have come out like that. The trend has shifted to Japan. It was Vikings for a while. Yeah, and I don't think that that's something that Sony is doing. I think the market's kind of doing that. I also think that we're doing... We're seeing evidence of like Elden Ring has impacted, you know, FromSoft has impacted the market. We've seen an increase in that as well. Really waiting for that quote from the freaking... Thank you for ordering some coffee. Best of both worlds. I've still been having issues with labels, so there's a one order in there that's a couple of days old, but I'll get to it. It's an Asian console that sells better in Western and European markets than in Japan, so I don't know. Oh no, an Asian company has leaned into Asian combat. Here's something that I've just continued to not understand and I can't resonate with. I don't have external measurements of what makes a game good or bad. I have internal measurements. Like when I play a game, I'm talking about the sound design, the narrative, the voice acting, the combat, the performance, the setting, the tone. Like I go into the game and I have internal measurements where I say, is this game fun or not? Is this game good or not? These external measurements, I think, are pointless because, well, it's not first party. Oh, okay. Now, that's like saying, well, a guy named Steve didn't work on it. What? Like, well, I don't care. Alfonso with the 10 bomb of gifted memberships and takes us to 85, getting us a little bit closer to being on pace. Every week we have a weekly goal. You guys can turn Friday night into community game night. We stream no matter what on Friday night, but you guys can make it a little bit more fun by hitting that goal. You can help us hit that goal by becoming a member. If you pick Member Plus or VIP, it counts as 2 if it's brand new, or if you upgrade. If you upgrade to Member Plus or VIP, I count those as 2 in the weekly count. Always make sure you celebrate your renewals as well. If you're at the $5 or gifted tier and you celebrate, I can't add it because that would be like double dipping. But if you're at Member Plus and VIP and you celebrate your membership, I add it to the goal. We want to say thank you to the people that support the channel like that. Like, I don't bring those external measurements. I'm not like, oh, I'm going to like this game more because it was made by this studio. Sometimes I think I'm more critical depending on the studio. Like, I'll probably be more critical of Tsushima 2 because I expect it to be better than the first game by some margin. It doesn't have to be like night and day, but I expect it to be better than the first game. Salty Gamer with 27 months on a VIP. Thank you so much. Bumping the line to 86. Like, so the external measurements I find to be odd. It's like, I don't know why you care. I enjoyed a ton of games this year, and whether or not the company was owned by PlayStation didn't affect my enjoyment in the least. A 6 spot from server error. Nonsense. The Xbox fans were touting first party in holiday 2021 with Halo. They are the ones that said that third party doesn't matter during that time. And then a single gift that comes in from DK Bager and bumps us to 87. Thank you so much. Guys, if you can't gift members or do super chats, it does help when you hit the like button. Take a quick second and make sure that you've done that. A lot of people here. Double your VIP memberships and one for your friend. Cool. Huh? I'm not sure what you're saying. I think it's a side effects of Xbox just not being present. The list wars turned inwards. Now it's first party versus third party. Listen, you can have your preferences and I have mine. Not you specifically, Mule. Your assessment, I think, is correct. So, to the people that are doing that, listen, you can have your preferences. You can. That's fine. My preference is the game good? Was it exclusive? Okay, then great. If it was exclusive, that adds value to the console that I'm on. Was it good? That's all that matters at that point. Like, was the game good? Concord was exclusive, and it was bad. Wasn't buggy, wasn't glitchy. It just wasn't a good game. It was a game that nobody wanted. 20 months from Yuzu says, the first party thing is just console fanboys going at it with each other. That's what I was trying to say, because that's only the thing they care about. Right. And 40 months from Liquid Smoke. Fingers crossed for a Ghost of Tsushima 2 announcement. Yes, same. 88 members on the day. Thank you. So sure, you can have your preferences. That's fine. If you're going to be upset that we didn't get enough first party this year from PlayStation, that's totally fine. That's fine. That's fine. You can have that preference. I don't think that preference makes sense because it's external to the game. Like, it's external to the game. It's like, let's just say right now, PlayStation bought Arrowhead Studios. Does that suddenly make Helldivers better and more fun? Does it like retroactively change it? Oh, dude. Helldivers is so much better now. Why? Well, because now it's a first-party studio game. Like, what? Like, let's imagine Stellar Blade came out, and for one day, it was just an exclusive. Right? And then the very next day, PlayStation buys the studio. Does the game suddenly count as a first-party? Is it better? Is it more fun? It was like, well, yesterday it was just an exclusive. Now it's a first-party studio. Do you see how ludicrous it is? It's like it's completely disconnected from your enjoyment of the game. It's not connected to it. It doesn't change the combat, the gameplay, the quality, the replayability, the graphics, the performance. None of that's affected by who owns the studio. Like... No, it wouldn't count because it wasn't developed while owned by Sony. Yeah, what's the... At what point does it count, Zuby? You know? It's like everybody wants to lay Concord at PlayStation's feet. That's fine. I think PlayStation made a big mistake. But that game was developed mostly before PlayStation owned them. Like, what, they bought them early last year. So they owned them for a year and a half of the life cycle of development. No, that's fair. I fault Sony for that one. They should have seen that thing was a disaster. They should have seen that nobody wanted it. And they didn't. Do you think we see more fair games today? I certainly hope not. I hope fair games just quietly disappears. A competitive heist game? Listen, I'm going to tell you something right now. PlayStation's falling victim to the same thing that everybody else is falling victim to. It's a two-part mistake. Mistake one, we should do live service. Well, that's not necessarily a mistake. It makes sense. Hey, we should do live service. And you know what they say? Well, let's just do that. Let's just do that. Let's just do that shooter game or that shooter game. And then, yeah, you just throw in a season pass and you throw in some microtransactions. I have your shirt. It's sick. Oh, thank you. Like, they're all making the same mistake. It's like, hey, let's do live service. How? Well, let's just do the thing that's already been done. And then we'll just throw in a little dash of season pass and cosmetics. No, you idiot. That's not how you make a live service game. That's why people are like, why don't you want Marathon to come to market? Or why don't you want Fair Games to come to market? Because they're going to fail. Like, that's why. They're going to fail. There's nothing there. There's nothing original to it. It's just another live service shooter. If you want a live service game, I'm telling you, you've got to either do early access, you got to do something fresh and new. I think the future of live service is better spent in PvE anyway. Far better. Yo, what's good, Wooly? 13 months. All I can think about is 90 minutes of Death Stranding 2 at Tokyo Game Show. The game of all games since Metal Gear Solid 3. I don't care about PlayStation first party anymore. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't succeed without trying? Yeah, but you... I wouldn't call that trying. I would not call that trying. I would not call market mimicry trying. They're just mimicking things that are already in the market. So tonight at the PlayStation State of Play, buddy old pal, I really hope Fair Games isn't there, because that'll be a sign to me that it might be cooked. I don't think that game has a prayer. Marathon could jump through the ring of fire. They could. I'll say it. Like, Marathon could jump through the ring of fire. Bungie makes great shooters. Extraction shooters isn't super saturated yet, and if they bring this idea, some creativity to it, it could be like overnight, like, hey, this thing's kind of hot. But from everything we've heard internally about the game, I don't think so. Schreier's like that the feeling around the game isn't great. Tom Henderson's like, the game is cooked. They switched directors because the original director was a creep, right? So it's like, and then they changed direction of the game. Like, there's so much stink on that game. I'm like, I just don't think it can jump through the ring of fire. There's too much weight attached to it now. I just don't think so. So, I think they need to completely reassess their live service plans. They need to completely reassess. Marathon smacked them right on the rear end in front of the public. Now, if you look at Helldivers 2, I think Helldivers 2 is an insight into what it takes. It's got to be a new experience. I think it has to be non-player funnel dependent. I think PvE is a better option. I think cooperative play with your buddies is a better option. I think anything competitive now, I think anything PvP, I think you're going to fight a losing battle. You've got heavy hitters that are trying to enter that market right now, by the way. You've got Marvel Rivals. You've got Valve's Deadlock. Like, good luck. Good luck trying to get anybody to play your competitive PvP shooter game. Like, good frickin' luck. You already have to contend with existing leviathans that just soak up massive amounts of the player funnel. And then you have other major players entering the market that have a lot of money and have a lot of notoriety and have a lot of brand recognition. Marvel's got Marvel in Rivals, and then Valve's got Deadlock, as far as like they've got the confidence of that user base of being like, hey, they make good games. This thing seems pretty hot. Like, even if, let's say, it doesn't go anywhere. Let's say Deadlock doesn't make it or Marvel Rivals doesn't make it. You think you can? Isn't a heist live service an original idea? It sounds like PvE. Aren't you just racing the other team? No, the other team can kill you. It's like in the trailer. There's an objective outside of shooting one another. What do you think people are going to do in the game, Jesse? Come on, bro. Have you ever played a video game before in your life? Okay, so there's two teams. There's an objective. You're trying to do it. These guys are trying to stop. You can shoot each other. What do you think people are going to do? They're just going to shoot each other. We're supposed to be doing the objective. I don't care. I'm going to go shoot people. Victor Mayhem with 41 months says, I never understand the prosperity of sides in the video game industry. Luckily, as a gamer, I've been able to have multiple platforms since childhood. But do people do this with board games? Victor, let me add a member to the count. That's 89 on the day. 11 away from 100, boys. Explain it again. It sounds complicated. Like, this is what happened in the DMZ. Right, like, oh, there's an objective? Oh, I can also go shoot people? Yeah, I'm going to go shoot people. That's all people are going to do. It's going to be a griefing nightmare. Now, even if they make it to where they can't shoot you for a certain amount of time period, I still just don't know if people are going to gravitate to a competitive heist game. I don't see it. I don't see it, bro. Will you be streaming the showcase for non-members? I have soccer practice, and we had a rough game on Saturday, so I kind of had to be there for my girls. Like, if it was the boys' team, I would have sent my wife and been like, just run these drills, because the boys' team is just, they're at a phenomenal level. There's a slim chance that weather might make it, they might cancel, so we'll see. Green Monster rounds us out nicely to 90, tempting somebody to drop a 10 bomb. You guys are going to need some of the big boys to start showing up. We missed last week. We're on pace to miss this week. You're going to have to turn it around. We're 2 days into the week. Jesse Ritchie with a $2 super chat. I say join the resistance, save our republic. I used to love the game Brink. Yeah, I remember Brink. My friends and I were really looking forward to Brink. And like after 2 days with it, we were like, this is garbage. A 5 spot from Angels says, I could be wrong, but what is concerning about Concord is that the man who vouched for it is now in charge at PlayStation. Alfonso gifts a member. A little bit of a gifted member train going right now. Thank you so much, Alfonso, and everybody else who has gifted members today. If you get a gifted member from somebody, make sure and say thank you for getting you into our community. Are you coaching Barcelona? Yeah. I just do the YouTube thing for fun. Yeah, I coach for Barcelona. Oh my gosh. Will you be streaming the showcase for non-members? I already answered you. I always stream live events for everybody. And I will if soccer practice is canceled because of rain. If it's not canceled, then no, I will not be able to stream it. We'll have to do a reaction tomorrow. It's the same thing they do in Valorant, just shoot each other instead of planting. Right, everybody just goes for the killing, for sure. What's your favorite team? Holland. I mean, you're the only one that's being disingenuous. The gamers set out to accomplish different things, but reducing Horizon Forbidden West and not having any depth is what started the whole convo. I mean, Horizon Forbidden West has depth, but I think Infinite's original point was maybe that it didn't have enough depth. He wanted the depth of, like, open world RPGs, maybe? You know? I sent a few messages back, but I can't retype it. I just wish we knew the scope of expectations. I'm not sure what you're referring to. What's the time for the State of Play Central? It's 6 p.m. Eastern, so what's that for you, 5? If it doesn't rain, you should cancel it. The girls need a tough rain session to toughen them up. Well, no, it's like thunderstorms. Like, we can't be out in an open field during thunderstorms. It's not just rain. Excuse me. Gamers vote with their wallets. It's pretty obvious Concord wasn't what we wanted. Well, and the fact that they're going to charge for Marathon, I once again think that you're go ahead, I guess, you know. There's just things that you know. There's things that you know without it needing to be like definitively proven to you, right? There's things that you know without it being definitively proven to you. Like if somebody said, I'm going to go do a lemonade stand in the front yard. And you're like, oh, that's great. What are you going to charge? I'm going to charge $10 for every glass of lemonade. Now, there's a chance that you're wrong, that people think it's adorable and you live in like a well-to-do neighborhood that's like, I respect the hustle, and they sell a lot of lemonade. It's unlikely. It's unlikely. The average person's going to see that for what it is. This kid's out of touch here. Like, I'm not paying $10 for a cup of lemonade, you know. So when you look at the landscape of games and what happened with Concord, and someone's like, we're going to launch our PvP only game. It's PvP extraction, you know, whatever you want to classify it as. And we're going to charge money for it. Go ahead. Sounds like you're trying to sell $10, you know, $10 glasses of lemonade. If the lemonade's for charity. Yeah, maybe if it was for charity, but then again, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was just a kid doing it to make a bunch of money, most people would be like, no thanks, kiddo. You know, a lot of people are like, I don't have $10 on me right now. You know, they might have a couple singles, you know, yeah, for $1. You know. So that's the point. Like, you don't even need to know all the intangibles. You just know that if a kid did that, it would very likely not work. Bringing a game like Marathon or Concord to the market and charging money for it, you kind of just know. You're like, I just don't think that's going to work. I think the market will reject that. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that PvP games gravitating towards free-to-play models is good or bad. I'm saying that's just where we are. That's just the state that we're in right now. That's what people expect. So at tonight's State of Play, at the PlayStation State of Play, or if PlayStation does a showcase in December, I'm crossing my fingers that Marathon and Fair Games aren't included, because number one, I think the general reception to those games right now would be almost instinctively negative because of Concord. So I think you need to keep them out of the public's eye right now. Like, if you really want Marathon or Fair Games to have a chance, I think they need to go quiet until like middle of next year. You got to let the Concord hullabaloo die down. If you put Marathon or Fair Games in this PlayStation State of Play or in a PlayStation showcase, you know, in December, everybody's going to say the same thing. Yep, here we go again. Like, no one's going to look at those games and even give them a fair shake. They're going to be like, PlayStation, did you not learn your lesson with Concord? You want to do a couple more of these? You want to do a couple more of these stupid, like, lifeless, soulless trend chases slop? Like, you want to do more of that? Both Marathon and Fair Games are going to be there. It's leaked. I never trust State of Play leaks. Well, the last one was real because didn't somebody basically get access to the video on the back end of YouTube? So maybe this is Doomslayer. Which leak are you referring to? Because the last time there was a State of Play leak, it actually was accurate. Usually they're completely made up. Just somebody being goofy. Or it's like 4chan or something. Mach-Y with a Member Plus renewal bumps the line to 92. Guys, hit that $sign at the bottom of the chat. See if you have a member renewal to celebrate, or you can give some members as well. Help us move the line, especially if it's a member renewal. You're already paying for your membership. You should be celebrating those in chat. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man, right? It's like, you guys want to do this again? I disagree. Do early access. Of all of the possible, you know, pathways to take with Marathon and Fair Games, I would say canceling them is what I think is the best. I think that's the best choice. I 100% think they should cancel Fair Games. I think Marathon, you'd really, if I'm Bungie to PlayStation, I think they've really got to prove themselves, because internally it sounds like the game is a joke. It's in bad shape. And a 5-bomb from Zach Johnson gets us to 97. Thank you so much for doing that. And a member renewal from Travis Roberts. Travis, if you're paying for your own membership, You want to upgrade to Member Plus because I can't tell if it's a gifted or not. I can only add renewals to the count that are not gifted because that would be a double dip. Like everybody that just got a gifted membership from Zach can celebrate it, and then I can't tell that it's a gifted being celebrated, and that's like a double dip. So I can't count those. Ikagang says Jim Ryan is a disgrace. Fair game's next to fail. I mean, I wouldn't call him a disgrace. The guy got them through, a pandemic and a chipset shortage, and he turned profit and had increases for them every year he was in. If they misfired on some live service games, join the club. There's a bunch of people that have done that. Everybody wants to figure it out, and nobody's doing a great job at it. It's a really tough nut to crack. Yo, MTO with 19 months says, let's get it. Yeah, MTO, another one. Guys, double check. If you're renewing your membership and paying for it, you really want to be on Member Plus. You get into more content. Yeah, the memberships that gifted, they're kind of random. And a single gifted from John Always gets us to 98. Thank you so much, John Always. Sean Layden is an angel. I mean, I liked Sean Layden just fine. I think Jim Ryan did a fine job. Like, I don't feel like he did anything where I'm like, oh man, PlayStation sucks. Thanks, Jim. Like, I've had a good 4 years with my PlayStation 5. I don't have any major complaints other than that they should really back off on the trend chase live service. I don't think they should do it. I think they should be seeking more creative and innovative options into live service. Bring a new concept to the market, not just here's a competitive heist game, here's an extraction shooter, here's a 5v5 arena shooter. Who the frick cares? Those are all games we've played before, some amalgamation of them, so it's not going to feel new and fresh. It's going to feel like, what is this? There's no staying power with games like that. I just don't think so. A VIP from Butters bumps the line to 99. Thank you so much for renewing your membership, Butters. Butters says, confirm rumor says, we don't see Tlu 3 tonight. Yeah, no Tlu 3 for sure. 3 years from Zinthos, and that's 100 members on the week. You guys have now kind of caught up to what you needed yesterday. Thank you so much, Zinthos. I don't think people should be concerned about Haven shutting down. They've been instrumental to developing PS Studios, remote working tools. Half the leadership are former Google engineers. I do have another complaint. Give me another Uncharted game. I'm pretty sure there's an Uncharted game in development with Cassie Drake. And Kyle Wilkerson is the Agent of Chaos. He renews his VIP and bumps us to 101. Did I gift members yet? DK Bager tried to be the Agent of Chaos, but he was a little bit too slow. Bumps the line to 102. Did I gift members yet? I owed you guys 5. I now would owe you 10 if I haven't. Let me check the back. No, I haven't. Let me do a 10 bomb right now, and let me get all paid up. And we could do another gauntlet. If you guys get this all the way to 200 today, if you hustle, I'll do a 50 bomb. We did a couple gauntlets last week, and it didn't work. So I'm willing to try it again. If you guys can basically double where we are, if you can get us to 200, I'll drop 50 member bomb at the end of that. So let's see if we can do it. We usually have big days for State of Play, big turnouts, a lot of fun, a lot of good conversations. Thank you guys for being here. I doubt there's any manner of shooter game that has not already been done. Any shooter game that they make is going to be like another shooter that has already been done. I've talked a lot about that, Corey. I think one of the worst things you can do right now is to try to bring a first-person shooter to the market. I mean it. I just think, I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm not saying that they couldn't be good. I'm saying I just think that's one of the riskiest genres to enter. There's just so many. There's so many first-person shooters. And not just so many. We've already played so many. It's a bit of a tired... It's just such a tired genre. First-person multiplayer. If you're going to do a first-person shooter, It needs to be something super creative like a BioShock or a Dishonored. It needs to be clear that it's not going to even resemble, look like, or smell like a Call of Duty or something. Like, it can't look like a modern shooter. If you want to do something, it needs to be in the realm of something that from the very beginning you can see that it's new and unique and fresh. Like let's think about what Fair Games is going to look like. Do you honestly think it's going to look and feel that distinctive from like GTA and Payday? Probably not. There's probably going to be a bunch of similarities. Like with Marathon, do you really think Marathon is going to be that distinct from like other shooters in the market? Now, if you strictly are talking about like single player games, a first person shooter, it's buddy, you better be creative or it's just going to feel like white noise. There's so many of them out there. Like Black Ops 6 is about to land with its campaign. I think it's going to be pretty good. I thought the Black Ops 1 campaign was phenomenal. It's one of the more memorable ones, the Numbers Mason, right? Black Ops 6 looks like it's going to be a stellar campaign. If you come to the market with a modern shooter, first-person shooter, and you look like or smell like anything within that realm, I think you're fighting an uphill battle. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm saying if you're trying to be risk-averse and you're trying to avoid risk, I think that's a genre to stay away from for a while. There's just so many of them. Jake with 37 months. Trip Pang 2. Thank me later. What? Trip Hang 2 is on sale on Steam right now. It came out June of last year. It's the ultimate gory action-packed FPS set in the near future. Unleash hell on your enemies, dodge bullets, and leave a trail of destruction. It's got a great score. It's got a 93% on Steam. It's on sale right now for $20. You can download the demo. Here, hang on. I just have to change my capture card. This is the game he's talking about right here. Yeah, Tripang 2 on sale. You can download the demo, give it a whirl, right? Yeah, I mean, and look, it looks like it's done fine. You know, 8600. Let's check the Steam charts. Trepang 2 Steam charts. Let's see where it peaked. It peaked at, you know, like, do you think that... No, the state of play is not 3 p.m. Eastern. It's 6 p.m. Eastern. Like, do you see? Great game. Really, really good score. Hopefully it was a small team, because it doesn't look like this thing was a commercial giant. If you're PlayStation and you're tasking your studios with games and you need these to be like mainline, successful AAA games, brother, like, I'm telling you, it's an uphill battle. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying that it couldn't work. I'm saying it's an uphill battle. It's a saturated market. Your arguments about shooters are confusing sometimes. You go off on Concord, Marathon, and Fair Games, but every time you see Fragpunk, you go on about awesome it looks. I've never gone on about how awesome Fragpunk looks. I said it just looks more fun. I've not once, like, gone on some diatribe about how Fragpunk looks awesome. I said I think it looks better. That's the extent. I think in 2 different streams, maybe 3, I've said one sentence about Fragpunk. I was like, honestly, if I look at Concord and I look at Fragpunk, I think Fragpunk looks more fun. Have I ever said that Fragpunk's going to be massively successful? No. Have I ever said that it's going to be a successful live service game? No. I just said that it looked more fun. Like, and why did I say that? Go to the context of when I said that. We were probably talking about the fact that Concord looks like everything else. It looked like Destiny. It kind of like Overwatch. It looked derivative. Fragpunk at least has a vibe, and at least it has an identity. Likely that's what I was saying, is like it actually looks better. It looks fun. It looks like it has its own feel, vibe, and tone. Concord didn't even really look like anything. context is always key. Like, and I think this happens. Like, I don't know why you remember that. Either you remember it or somebody clipped it. You know, oh, this pony thinks even Fragpunk looks better than Concord. Like, I'm not sure, you know, where you heard me say that, but like, context is always incredibly important. And my initial impression was that Fragpunk had more of an identity than Concord. You know, that doesn't mean it's going to make it. That doesn't mean it's going to be successful. It doesn't look original. Fragpunk gameplay. Oh, what is this? Here's the showcase extended trailer. No, I don't want cinematics. I want gameplay. Come on. Don't care. 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 Where's the... Oh, here we go. Yeah, using cards... Like, using cards is a creative spin. I've not seen something like that in a PvP game. Yeah, the art style... Even the shooting looks like it feels... It made everybody's head big. I don't know. Impressions are everything. This looks more fun. This looks like something I've not played before. Now, do I think this is going to be some crazy, massively successful live service game? No. But when I saw Concord gameplay, I was like, I've played that before. You know? I've played that before. I've never played a game that has used this attempt at innovation within the shooter. Homies are pulling out cards and stuff. Oh, this guy. We all love Last Stand from Call of Duty, don't we? I will say that guy's a little bit derivative of the Psycho from Borderlands, but what are you going to do? What game is this? It's called Fragpunk. It is described as a 5v5 hero shooter with power-up cards that change the rules of combat. Choose your hero, tweak your weapon loadout, and pick from a selection of cards that change every round to gain the upper hand. It's an Xbox. It's coming from NetEase and Bad Guitar. Listen, I don't think that game has any life either, by the way. I don't think that game has any life either. I don't. I think it looks fun as a terribly underrated take. Yeah, I'm just saying, I think it looks I think it looks fun. I think it looks more unique and has more of an identity than Concord. That doesn't mean I think it's going to last. I think that thing's got a short shelf life too. Why? It's a 5v5 hero arena shooter. Like, I don't think games like that, I don't think they have a long shelf life. Did you see what I typed in Discord? Barrier, did you get a notification about a VIP upgrade from RTS Rex? They're saying it didn't show in chat, and their milestone from last month didn't either. RTS Rex. Let me check fan funding. I don't see anything from RTS Rex in fan funding. I can check the back end. Fear Night Crusader with a $20 super chat tip says, good day, what's up? So yesterday was an interesting day on X. Apparently, there's a rumor that Rocksteady are making another Batman game. Guessing they're remastering all the previous games to gain the gamer's trust back. They better not do a remaster. That's not what people are going to want. People don't want a remaster of Arkham Asylum or Arkham City or Arkham Knight. Now listen. They could do all three of those remastered to next-gen performance, lighting, texture, 60 FPS as a nice runway to a new game, but that better not be all they're working on. Listen, I would love to have next-gen versions of all those games because, like, I think Arkham Knight has aged incredibly well, but I would love to get 60 FPS on the console. So that'd be cool if they did like a remastered collection of those three especially, but buddy, I think people want a new game from them after Kill the Justice League. Now, if they would have done that instead of Kill the Justice League, I think people would have been like, hey, thanks, this is awesome. We can't wait for the next game. Didn't they already remaster them? No, I don't think so. Isn't it true that like right now Arkham Knight is like 30 FPS on console? Like you can't get like an updated version of it, I don't think. I'd have gone back. Oh, I'd have gone back and replayed that. I 200%ed that game on my Xbox. I loved Arkham Knight. Fragpunk's a hero shooter. That's why I was confused. Anyway, moving on. Here's the thing, Divisive Gaming. I can't always make an assessment of something and then qualify it. I can't be like, I think Fragpunk looks more fun and like it has more identity than Concord. I can't asterisk qualify that and be like, just in case this gets clipped out of context by clip snipers on Twitter and by salt farmers on YouTube, I need to make sure and specify that even though I have said that Fragpunk looks fun and has more identity than Concord, that it doesn't mean that I think it will last and be a successful live service game. Like, I can't do that every single time I make an assessment of something like on the fly. Clip snipers are poisoning the minds of conversations on this stuff. It's like, I stream for 2 to 2.5 hours and I say all kinds of things and somebody will grab a snippet and be like, look at this idiot who said this thing. And it's like, it was on the cuff, off the cuff, on the fly. And I didn't have a chance to maybe qualify beyond just saying, I think Fragpunk looks better. Like, there's no charity anymore. Nobody has the patience and the charity to be like, well, I'm predisposed to dislike this person because they criticize the brand that I like. So I'm going to believe the worst about them all of the time. That's a sickness. That's a sick way of looking at humanity. Like, where's the charity? I always do that when somebody comes to me and they're like, oh, so-and-so said this. And I'm like, okay, but is that all they said? Why did they say it? What were they responding to? What's the context of why they said that? What were they arguing? Who were they arguing with? Can I see the entire clip? Like, I always want to know the entirety of what they're saying. Like, what? Everybody always wants to take, like, the smallest snippet. And it's like, well, you can do that with anybody. I don't have extra Twitter. Please stop saying that. I only watch, like, 3 channels. You're one of them. My ignorance is bliss. No, right. So, that's good for you. But that's commonly what I'm dealing with. Is like, I'll say one thing months ago that some psychopath clipped on Twitter, and then someone brings it back up, and it's like, yeah, but that's not what I meant when I said that. Right? I'm not saying you're doing that. That's just the way you phrase the question. It just smacks of that. It smacks of the, yeah, but 3 months ago you said this, and it's like, yeah, but what was the context? What were we talking about? I certainly would have said that Fragpunk looks better than Concord, but within the context of what were we discussing, I certainly wasn't saying that I think Fragpunk is going to be a successful live service game, because I don't think that it will be. I think it's going to get the same treatment as a lot of other games. It just isn't going to go the distance. There's just not going to be enough people to play it. Read my earlier comment about Fragpunk. I played the alpha. Your team picks cards before the match. They hardly do anything. The game is pretty mid, and it's a Valorant clone. Isn't that always going to be a challenge, FCAT? I think that's always going to be a challenge. Like, if they make the cards too influential, then it can be really frustrating, so they make them kind of mediocre. All right, hang on. Let me check. Yes, they are. Walk them. I don't know why and don't care to investigate. Fragpunk Steam playtest had about 5,000 players. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. I'm just going to continue to come back to the same thing. You're fighting a losing battle. Missed my super chat? Oh, another one. $2. You said, how about a remake? It'd be better, at least on the PS5. Thank you for the super chat. I don't think they would need to do a remake of those games, homie. I think the core elements of Arkham Asylum, City, and Night, I don't think they need to be remade. I just think they need to be given, like, higher resolution and higher frames per second. Like, you... Look at the lighting. Look at the performance of Arkham Knight. It's a beautiful game. It doesn't need to be remade. It just needs to be remastered. I would be totally okay with those games being remastered if that's sort of, again, like a runway to a new Batman game. Like, I'm okay with Horizon Zero Dawn being remastered. Why? Because I know they're making a new Horizon game. Right? Like, I don't care. Like, when they remastered The Last of Us Part 2, that doesn't bother me. Why? I'm confident that they're going to make another Last of Us. So, like, I'm okay with the company doing a remaster as a way of, like, maybe they're learning how to use their assets in a next-gen environment. Maybe it's a small team. It ends up giving them a little bit more revenue. Then it funds the next project. I'm totally okay with that. They are completely optional purchases, especially with the way PlayStation does them. You only have to pay $10 if you already own the game. Like, I'm totally okay with remasters if I'm confident the property is getting a new game, if the developer is giving me a new game in the future. I think that's why Skyrim always kind of sticks in everybody's craw, because it's like, you guys just keep doing this and won't give us a new Elder Scrolls. Life Flows with the 14-month renewal of Member Plus takes us to 103. We have a gauntlet challenge today, guys. If you hit 200 members on the week today, I'm going to drop a 50 member bomb, and today's a good day to do it. There's 800 people here. If you can't gift a member, stick around. You might get one gifted to you, and smash the like button. Let's try to get 400 likes. Thoughts on Fair Games? Do you see it failing or no? Yes, it's a flop. It will flop. I am extremely confident in Fair Games being a non-starter. I just don't think it. I just don't think it has what it takes. Even hear me out. Hear me out. Even if it's good, its chances of survival are slim. It's like, okay. So here's the problem with this. Market analysis of something that is popular can inform a brand on leaning into something that's popular. But video games, especially live service video games, are a different animal. So a lot of these companies, and you know I'm right about this, about 6 years ago, everybody was going, are you guys seeing this Fortnite thing? Are you guys seeing this? Are you? Oh my gosh. And so a bunch of companies and a bunch of executives saw dollar signs. And what did they do? They said, let's do the popular thing. And they are all going to learn a very, very hard lesson, because this isn't like other markets. Oh, that's really popular. Let's make one too. Well, okay, this is a product that people spend time in. And if that's where they spend their time, you're not going to get those consumers. So you're fighting for a slice of a pie that's already been chopped up by a lot. You got a big chunk playing Warzone, a big chunk playing Fortnite, a chunk playing Apex, a chunk playing PUBG, a chunk playing CSGO, a chunk playing Valorant, a chunk's going to play Marvel Rivals, a chunk playing Overwatch, a chunk playing X Defiant, a chunk's going to play Splitgate 2. Chunk. You want to try and get a slice of that pie? That's what they're doing. They're all going for the same slice. They're all going for the same dadgum pie. Yeah, player time is finite. Exactly, Boris. It's not a product that you buy and like put into your house. Well, this is popular. We should make our own throw rug or whatever. No, it's something that is player funnel dependent. When something is player funnel dependent, you are now reliant upon people playing and continuing to play. You are fighting a losing battle. Yeah, X Defiant is hemorrhaging players. I don't know how the finals is doing. I think Splitgate 2 is going to face challenges. Fragpunk's going to face these challenges. Fair Game's going to face these challenges. These games have a very, very slim chance of survival. I mean slim. This is like when you look at some of the famous wars and like chances of survival and life expectancy for these poor soldiers was just incredibly small, and there's the few guys that got through and they come back and tell us the insane stories. Like, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a landscape that's just riddled with bodies. There's just dead live service shooters everywhere you turn. That's what you're trying to get through. You're trying to get through that. Final says about 300,000 players across all platforms. If they can retain that, I think they can. I think that can work, depending on marketing dollars and production size of the company. I mean, 300,000 across all platforms. Are those concurrent, or is that like total? I am not saying all these games will fail. I'm saying the probability of failure is high. The probability of failure is very high. I would not write off Jade Raymond that quick. She's a very intelligent game developer. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's superfluous to the discussion. We're not talking about how smart the developers are. We're not talking about how savvy they are with making creative or innovative systems. We're talking about an absolutely saturated market, and you're trying to break into it. That means your probability of success is incredibly slim. Saying Fair Games is going to fail isn't a big stretch. It has all the odds against it, but I think you're far too quick to judge it at this stage. People said the same thing about Concord, Donnie. They said I was being too hard on it. I'm telling you. I think the biggest problem, it's multifaceted. We haven't even gotten into... We've not even gotten into the fact that the scope of these games is so small. Like, think about an arena shooter, okay? Think about the experience of an arena shooter. Yeah, this is something that has to be... this has probably got to be studied as well. A lot of the guys designing these games, they're my age. They're my age. What do you think's influencing the structure of the maps and the arena? What do you think's influencing that? Probably their history with arena shooters. They grew up playing Quake 3 like me, an Unreal Tournament, right? And, you know, they played some Call of Duty. Map size of Call of Duty is arena, right? It's not arena rules, but it's arena size. Like, look at all these games that are coming out. They're being made by guys that are like my age. They're in their 30s and their 40s, and they grew up playing arena shooters. It's influencing. Like, do you remember Lawbreakers? Remember Cliffy B's game, Lawbreakers? That was like 1,000% influenced. That was like 1,000% influenced by the old arena shooters like Quake. So we haven't even talked about that. Like, the scope of these games is so narrow. I can't see people coming back month after month and saying, yeah, I want to keep playing a 5v5 arena. I want to keep playing a competitive heist game. I want to keep playing a hero-based extraction shooter. There's not enough to them. She's older than us. Mullen says, I think a failure is dependent on budget and expectations. If Sony is aiming for small dedicated user bases to fill a genre gap in their portfolio, if it's a payday killer, it's got a chance. Okay. That is a theory that I trotted out before Concord launched, Mullen, and I think it's a fair thing to push out there. But let's just imagine that the PlayStation Live service games are not meant to be extremely popular. And I think we have an example in Helldivers. Helldivers did not expect to be the size that it is. It isn't. Like, even now with its player-based numbers being lower, they did not expect the commercial success that they had. Okay? So, it stands to reason then that a lot of these live service games might be in a similar lane of we don't expect them to be, you know, as big as Call of Duty or Fortnite. We expect to get a decent little loyal fan base, little core fan base. We'll just keep giving them content, right? Here's the challenge with that, and I think we saw it with Concord. You need a ton of people to jump in the pool to sample whether or not the water's fine. British with the 5-bomb says, come on, boys. He's like, well, let's get to 200. If we hit 200 members today, guys, I drop a 50 bomb of members. Help out. Thank you so much, British. You need a lot of people to jump in the funnel to decide whether or not, oh yeah, this is actually a pretty fun game. They are setting these games up to really limit the potential of people saying, hey, that game's kind of my jam, by putting a price tag on them. You're going to charge $40 for Marathon? They're probably going to charge $40 for Fair Games. All these games are going to land in the same lane. Helldivers 2, Concord, Fair Games, Marathon. 40, 40, 40, 40, 40. Okay? And the struggle you're going to have is a bunch of people are going to be like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can go play this game. I can go play Warzone. I can go play Fortnite. I can go play, Apex. Do I really want to spend $40 to see if your competitive heist game or your extraction shooter is worth a darn? I don't know. So you're making it difficult to fill that funnel. It's a numbers game. Have you ever been in a sales position and they say to you, you're going to need to be told no 7 times before you get a yes? So a lot of sales reps develop a numbers game strategy to selling. They basically say, if I knock on 21 doors today, the odds are in my favor. I should come home with 2 to 3 sales. So they set their sights on fill the funnel with opportunities and get a certain number of conversions, right? This is the law of averages in sales. Like, you're trying to basically interact with as many people as you can because there are yeses out there. If you apply that principle to a live service game like Fair Games or Marathon or even Concord, there are yeses out there. There are people that are going to play your game that are going to enjoy it, that are going to want to come back. And you're making it hard to find them because you're like, yeah, it's not free. You got to pay. You see? Like, I feel like they're stacking the absolute deck against these games being successful. Their approach is extremely wrong-headed. That's my personal take. Based on how the market's behaving, based on how the market's responding, I think coming to the market with a competitive heist game or an extraction shooter and charging $40 for it, I think you're setting those games up to fail because the market's already going to be brutal. It's going to be really, really tough. It's going to be really, really tough to even enter the market to begin with. Helldivers 2 works at 40. Yeah, the Storm percentages are going up, but it's supposed to stop at 4. If it rains from noon to 4 heavily, I bet you they cancel. They don't want us on the fields when it rains that much because it turns the fields into a swamp. And then it's like bad for the field. So if it rains that heavily, we might be able to co-stream the state of play. They'll probably cancel practice. But our heist games free, our MMOs free, our extractions free. I think it's genre dependent. Yeah, but that doesn't matter, Mule. No. Think about what I'm saying, Mule. You're trying to get people to put down the 4 or the 5 free games that are out there that are very popular, and then come and play our game, come and try our game out. And they're like, well, I can play this game for free. Now, I'm not saying they're going to say, oh, I can play this heist game for free. I can play this extraction game for free. I'm saying your target audience is engaged right now. They're engaged right now in Warzone, Fortnite, Apex. Like, you want some of those people to come over. You need some of those people, for crying out loud. Do you think there's just an ocean of people who don't play Warzone, who don't play Fortnite, who don't play Apex? That's who you're going to fill your funnel with? All the people that don't play those games? Like, don't you see? It's like, what heist game are people playing now? Do you think there's market demand for a competitive heist game, Garrett? That's my point. Do you think the market's like, man, I really wish there was a competitive heist game out right now? I don't think so. Corey says the problem is that if you enter into the market as a free-to-play game, you end in worse position than if you release the at price and players don't translate into payers, which is how free-to-play games make money. I'm not debating the economics of it, Corey. I'm debating why I think these games have minimal chance of survival. I don't think the market is conducive to what they're trying to do. They feel like dinosaurs. Their arena, So let's just talk about the arenas first. So Concord, Fragpunk, and Splitgate. They're arena. Like that feels like a dinosaur in today's market. That feels archaic. I don't think that the market is showing, oh yeah, we're dying to play more arena shooter. If you're going to limit things to an arena size, you can go competitive like you have with, your tactical competitive like you do with like Valorant. Or kind of like what you have with like Marvel Rivals, where they're clearly mimicking Overwatch, which creates a more like hero-based environment. But even that game's going to struggle to keep people. It's like I just think people are going to say, yeah, this is fun for a little while. How do you keep them coming back? Nobody's answering that question. Yo, what's good, Pugs? Everybody's fixated on the fact that like, oh, it will be fun. Concord was fun. Are you going to come back a month later and be like, yo, I can't stop playing fair games. I can't stop playing Marathon. Like, I just don't think so. I don't think those types of experiences, I just don't think they have staying power. I really don't. I think Battle Royale has completely shifted player palettes, and I think more stripped down, more contained experiences, if they're not competitive, if there's not like a tactical element to them, then I think you very quickly lose people because it's just a meat grinder. It's the same thing over and over again. I think the economy of games matters because regardless of genre, if a game doesn't make money, it will fail. Sure. I feel like they're standing on the edge of a knife, Corey. You're not wrong that if you come out free to play and you don't capture an audience, you don't get people to do microtransactions, you make no money. If you do what Concord did and you put a price tag on it and you don't sell and you don't fill the funnel, you don't make money. Like, I think they're standing on the edge of a knife. It's like either decision can go wrong. State of play will be mid as usual. People will probably cry and whine as usual too. It's a tale as old as time. People expect a 30-minute presentation to make their brain explode, and when it doesn't, they'll be like, mid, L, Sony's lost their way. Okay. Like I can see into the future. The one or two games that people want to see won't be there, and everybody will cry and say the sky is falling, and the PlayStation's taking the L, and it's all over. PlayStation's lost their way. Nice shirt, Lono. I've actually still have the comic with that Omega Red versus Wolverine cover. Yeah, I love this shirt. I've shifted to my own personal collection recently. Cope, seed, L, ratio. Yeah. People already have their terrible reaction videos uploading. I want to start a parody channel where, like, I preemptively record. And I'm like, can you believe this? What's this? Look out. This is lame. Golly. Take the L, Sony. You know, and why'd they even bother mentioning this? And then basically just, like, fill in different games. You know what I mean? Just preemptive complaint videos. Just the same format every time, you know? What a terrible showcase. What a terrible state of play. Let me break down why it was so bad. This is lame. This is boring. This is like a kid's game. Nobody asked for this. Where's the first party? Hit like and subscribe. Like there, I did it. Just put videos up in the corner next to my finger, you know? Just green screen it up. Garrett says, well, Lono, stop saying Ghost is going to be there. You're giving false expectations. I didn't say Ghost was going to be there. I said I wanted it to be there. Am I not allowed to want things, Garrett? Am I not allowed to want? Lono, make 2 videos. A positive state of play reaction and a negative one. See which does better. Yeah, the Markiplier meme. Yeah. This right here. Corey says, I said at the start, no matter what they show, people will say it's mid and be angry with the show. If anything, I expect rage. That much is already a guarantee. And I think they love your rage and your anger. It means they've got you. That means they've got you. It means like, what they don't want is apathy. But without fail, the state of play viewership's high and everyone cries. They're like, it's good to know we've still got you. It's like you're just admitting that you're in. You're hooked. You're an addict. You can't get out. You know? Sony seems lazy this gen. What games have you purchased and played on your PS5 that make you feel that way? Why do you feel like they've been lazy? I feel the opposite as you. So walk me through your experience this gen. What's got you to the place where you think that they're lazy? I just want something about Ghost of Tsushima 2 as well. Listen, a little goes a long way right now. I mean it. It's like a little bit of spice in a dish. Like a little goes a long way. They end the state of play with the Ghost of Tsushima 2 trailer, and I'm here to tell you, I think people would be like, yo, Sony's back. It's about time. I think a lot of people would have that attitude. Concord makes you think they're lazy. So a studio they bought early last year and brought a derivative arena shooter to the market that failed. You think they're getting lazy? So did you not buy any of the other games this gen? Did you not buy Demon's Souls Remake, Returnal, Ratchet, Horizon, Gran Turismo, God of War? Did you not buy any of those games? Did you not buy Spider-Man 2? Did you not play Burning Shores DLC? What about Final Fantasy 16, Stellar Blade, Hellblade, Rise of... not Hellblade. Stellar Blade, Helldivers, Rise of the Ronin, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Did you not buy like any of those games? Did you play any of those games? Fair Games isn't out yet. Corey says, my God, Lono, that's why I watch. Every now and again, you say things that are in my head. Apathy is the best way to show you dislike Sony, but people take the opposite approach. God of War is the only good one? God of War is the only good one? You didn't like Horizon, Returnal, Ratchet? I understand not liking Gran Turismo. If you're not a car guy, I wasn't really into that game either. It's fun on VR too. You didn't like Spider-Man? And then this year, we had a lot of exclusives that weren't first party. Did you not like Stellar Blade? You didn't like Ronin? You didn't like Helldivers 2? You didn't like Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth? You didn't like Astrobot? You forget Concord? Nobody's forgotten Concord. I made a bunch of videos on Concord. I said it was a massive risk. I said that nobody was going to want it. I said the gameplay looked bad. I have a handful of videos on this channel that were negative before it even came out. And then I covered it flopping. And then I made a video saying PlayStation needs to reevaluate their live service plans, and I've called for them to cancel Fair Games and Marathon. I've forgotten Concord. Yo, what's good, Treble? Like, I'm always just curious. Like, the other ones are not for me? Well, then it doesn't sound like you should even have a PlayStation then. It sounds like some of their biggest property, some of their best-selling property isn't for you. It's like going to a sandwich shop and saying you really are only there for the soup. Like, I don't understand. Why would you be in the PlayStation ecosystem if some of their most, like, iconic, popular titles are not for you? Sonic Central's on right now. I'm not doing anything with that. Like, if you don't like Spider-Man and you don't like Ratchet and you don't like Horizon, man, you're already in bad shape. Xbox is just as mid. So what's your history with games? No, guys, don't dogpile. There's no reason to insult him. He's not insulting anybody here. Everybody relax. What's your history with games? What are the games that you've played? The platforms that you've had? Like, what's your gaming biography? Because, like, if you have a PlayStation and you don't like some of their biggest titles, like, I'm confused. I'm like, what? It doesn't sound like you should have a PlayStation. You could be in a console for just one exclusive. He might be like me, Lucas. When I bought my PS4 Pro, I only got like 2 or 3 games for it. You love the PS4? What were the games that you loved during the PS4 era? You loved Xbox 360? I liked that era too. That's where I bought most of my Xbox games. My biggest library increase, I think, was during the 360 era. I mained Xbox back then. I didn't build a PlayStation library when I got a PlayStation 4 Pro. I bought like a couple of games, and that was it. I was still maining Xbox at the time. He's full of it? No, he's not full of it. He just named generations before. He might have liked different games back then. Let him say what he liked. Don't be so emotional and so reactionary about it. He's not said anything scathing. I'm trying to figure out why somebody would think that they're lazy. That's why I'm asking questions. What's your gaming biography? What are the games that you played? What are the platforms that you enjoyed to make you think that PlayStation's falling below expectations for you? I'm just trying to figure that part out. What were the games you liked during the PS4 era? He hasn't answered why they're lazy. Well, we're trying to get to the bottom of it. Sometimes people feel a certain way and they don't really even understand why they feel that way. I'm trying to get to the bottom of why he thinks that. Like, what were you playing during the PS4 era, you know, that you're like, are you hoping that comes this era? Why am I getting met? Oh, never mind. It was an old mention in Discord. Well, playing good cop, chat being bad cop. Well, yeah, it's a simple question. I loved God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, and the first Spider-Man, but the second one didn't pull me in. Okay. No, I understand you now. I get it. No, that's fine. He liked God of War 2018. He liked Ghost of Tsushima and the first Spider-Man. Second Spider-Man didn't pull him in. That's fine. A lot of people thought the first Spider-Man was better than Spider-Man 2. That's totally fine. And he did say, what did he say? He said God of War was their best game this gen. I mean, that's a very narrow preference that's brought him to what he thinks. To be fair to him, and to be fair to the platform, it sounds like this is kind of self-inflicted. It doesn't sound like you play a lot of games. Like, to call them lazy because they're not delivering a very narrow type of game that you like, I don't think that's a very justifiable feeling. You're welcome to feel it. You're totally welcome to be like, oh, I think they're lazy. But like, you're like, yeah, I like that. A teeny tiny slice of games, and you know, all these other things that they do I don't like, they're therefore lazy. That like doesn't make any sense. Like, if you come to a restaurant and you're like, all I really like is chicken, and you go to a steakhouse, you can't be like, yeah, the steakhouse is really lazy. They don't have enough menu options for me. It's like, now hang on a minute. Your palate and you're like, I only like this teeny slice. Well, then nothing else they do counts? Do you see what I'm saying? Returnal didn't count. Ratchet & Clank didn't count. Demon's Souls Remake didn't count. Horizon, Gran Turismo, Spider-Man, none of those games count because you're like, well, I like God of War and Ghost of Tsushima. Do you see? It sounds like the problem is with you. It's like, well, I only like a small amount of games, so then I'm not going to count any of these games, and then I'm going to accuse them of being lazy. It was like, what? That would be like, if I cleaned the entire house, and the gutter's outside, but I forgot to take the trash out, and my wife's like, you're awfully lazy today. I'd be like, excuse me? Like, that would be unreasonable. You ignored all of the other things I did, fixated on one thing so that you could call me lazy. I'd be like, excuse me? I cleaned the entire house. Are you nuts? Right? That would come up in therapy. That would come up in our counseling sessions, right? I'm like, I did everything, and I didn't take the trash out, so I'm lazy? And it's like, well, we're 4 years into the gen. They delivered a ton of games, really quality games. A lot of them have won awards. And we also have a bunch of exclusives this year. But I only like this small smattering of games, so none of those count, and they're lazy. Having to wait 5 or 6 years for a game to be made is terrible. Once again, I feel like your expectations are not in line with reality. I want more games to take 5 to 6 years to come to the market. What you just said drives me crazy about the misses? Yeah, they've got their own scorecard they want to keep. Yeah. Now, you all are going to get in fights with your wives later, and you're going to have to blame it on me. Yeah, well, You should have been there. Are you speaking from experience? No, actually, my wife is awesome. She's not like that. She is very appreciative of when I do certain things. She's like, "Thank you for doing that." You know, it's a healthy relationship, right? Keeping short accounts, showing appreciation for the little things. So, like, to me, I this is why asking these questions are important. I now understand you. I get it. You're totally free to be that person. I'm not telling you what games you should like, what games you should play, or what you should think. It sounds like your opinion is so unfounded. They're lazy. Why? Well, because I only like a couple of games, and games shouldn't take 5 to 6 years to come to the market. Okay, well, you just basically told us that you have a very, very specific viewpoint of reality to then conclude that they're lazy. Like, I'm just going to start employing this method more and more. Okay, fine. You can feel that way. I need you to walk me through how you got there. What's your history as a gamer? What games have you been playing? What games have you purchased on the console? And every time we've done it so far, yesterday as well as today, every time we've done it, we get to the bottom of it, and it's like, this is really an unfounded position. It's an unfounded position. It's like, if that makes PlayStation lazy, then what do you think of Nintendo and Xbox? Like, you see what I'm saying? Blink twice if Madam's in the room. No, she's not here. She's out with the kids. No, Madam's not here right now. He doesn't have a PlayStation? Imagine every game coming out like COD every year. Yeah, like, think about that for a moment. Do you want you know, a production line? Do you want production line games? Do you want that? Look what it's done to certain franchises when they were cranking out too many Assassin's Creeds, or when it's like a Call of Duty was coming out every year. I mean, do you want production line gaming, or do you want quality and substance? Paul says that every game they listed came out 5 years after the release of the PS4. Yeah, like late-gen PS4 games were, yes, some of the best, for sure. That's the thing that blows my mind, is some of the best PlayStation 4 games came late-gen, and we have had really great games early-gen PS5. And what does everybody moan about? Well, they were cross-generationally supported, so I can make a video claiming that you haven't really gotten any PS5 games yet. Meh. Oh, shut the frick up. Like, are we seriously? Like, we got that late in PS4 and started getting some bangers. And then the first 4 years of PS5, these have been great games. And that's your mark against them, is that they're cross-generationally supported. Doorknobs. That's not even an argument. That's a made-up scorecard. Literal doorknobs. Like, oh, well, but it's cross-generation supported, so it doesn't count. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna wear out saying shut the frick up. Like, just shut the frick up. Like, that's such a that's so stupid. I loved Horizon. I loved God of War. I wasn't like, yeah, well, you know, the engine is still compatible with PS4, and the true features often you can play it on the PS4, so this game's not as good. It's like, I had so much fun with those games. And there wasn't one moment where I was like, if this game wasn't cross-generation supported, it would be so much better. Like, I didn't play Spider-Man 2 and go, oh, this kicks the crap out of Horizon and God of War because, you know, it's PS5 only. That's stupid. I'm the hardcorest of casuals. I buy every game. My man's a casual bot. Yo, what's good, Ghost in the Garage Gaming? How are you? Not sure if that... Not saying it's lazy, but why not remaster old God of War instead of remastering upgraded PlayStation games? Do you know why, D-Tom? Because it's a shorter jump. right? It's a shorter jump. It's like, think about what they're doing right now. They're looking at the landscape of their customer base, and they're like, we have 30% of the people buying a PlayStation 5 didn't have a PlayStation 4. We're getting new customer acquisition. So, what do you think is better? Going back and remastering God of War, which would take a lot more work to really make it modern, or taking Horizon Zero Dawn and elevating it to where Forbidden West and Burning Shores are? Like, which do you think is easier? If you're trying to feed people next-gen level library so they can build their library faster, you're asking them to do something that's much more significant. I get the desire. It's fine for you to be like, I played Horizon. I don't give a frick. Why don't you go back and do God of War? You aren't the target audience. That's the point. That's what I tried to stress yesterday. I was like, they have so many people that didn't play any of those PS4 games because they quite literally didn't have a PlayStation 4. How many didn't have PS3 or 2? No, I get it, D-Tom, but think about it. If they know you didn't have a 4, they're going to target the stuff that's closer. It's like it's closer. It's like it's so much easier to do. The money spent will be so much lower, and that leads to better ROI. And then that leads to it coming to market faster, so people are building their libraries. When I listed all the titles in my video, there's going to be like 7 titles that a new PlayStation 5 owner can buy to add to their library. 7 that are not new next-gen games. So imagine they buy Returnal, Ratchet, Demon's Souls, Horizon, Gran Turismo, God of War, and Spider-Man 2, and then they also buy those other 7 games. That is a huge library to get that fast. They could do that in a year or 2, and they already have an enormous library. They can practically double their library with these game efforts that PlayStation's making. That's the point that everybody's missing. It's like, they don't care about you. They've got you. You bought Horizon. You bought Burning Shores. You bought Spider-Man 2. They're looking at these 20 million people saying, we got to get these people building their libraries out. What's the fastest way to do it? What's the lowest cost effective way to do it? Remastering games like The Last of Us Part 2 and Horizon and Days Gone. They're so close. They're right there. They're not that far behind. I mean, a lot of people are saying that. They're like, Horizon already looks good. Why would you do this? That's the point. It's like, it's so much faster to do it. And they're only going to make you pay $10, so it's not about you. They're not trying to squeeze $10 out of you. They're making these for the new customers because they've gotten a lot of them. Broken Surprise with the VIP bumps the line to 109. Guys, I threw down a gauntlet today. If you hit 200 members by the end of today, I'm dropping a 50 bomb. So consider gifting some members or upgrade your membership. That counts as 2 when you upgrade. If you upgrade to Plus or VIP. Nova's got 34 months. That's me. I missed out on every major PS4 title. I want the remasters. Sony is coming after me. That's it. And what Lobo is saying. Content continuity. Content continuity. Somebody's going to come into the PS5 or the PS5 Pro, and it's going to be like Horizon and Forbidden West look virtually interchangeable. God of War 2018 to Ragnarok, when they gave it the 4K checkerboard 60 FPS update to 2018 for free, virtually interchangeable. The Last of Us Part 1 remake and Part 2 remaster are beautiful. And when Part 3 comes out, continuity across all 3. I totally get it, but I see where people are coming from. I don't have enough time to play these really old games, but people who have played those newer games want something from the PS2 or the 3. Here's the other dilemma with going back to PS2 or PS3, D-Tom. A lot of those games there's no demand for. There's no demand for. Horizon's incredibly popular. There's going to be demand for the remaster. It'll sell just fine. There was demand for The Last of Us Part 1 remake and the remaster of Part 2. There was demand. Relevant. TV show. Right? Like, I just don't think there's demand for a lot of those older titles. Like, you think so fondly of them, but like they don't have the prestige and the market reach that the games do now. Horizon is a powerful IP. I don't think people realize that. They downplay it. A 2-spot from Charitard, that's a great name. Are you aiming at the 30th anniversary PS5 Pro? I mean, I might try to get one, but they're gonna get scalped. I'm almost confident. Alien Isolationist with a $2 super chat. Where can I buy the Shut the Frick Up T-shirt? Shut the frick up, you doorknob. I just get so tired of it. It's like everybody's playing Calvin Ball. It's like, well, the only way you can win this alleged contest that you created is you just make up your own rules. Are you sure Sony is keeping the $10 upgrade path? Has any of it been confirmed? I don't need that to be confirmed. It stands to reason that that's what they did with The Last of Us. If you own The Last of Us Part 2, you could spend $10 to get the remaster. They're going to do the same thing with Horizon. I have no reason to think otherwise. Why would they not do that? Like, didn't they did the same thing with the director's cut, did they not, of Ghost of Tsushima? If you already own Tsushima, couldn't you buy the director's cut for $10? They've already demonstrated that if you own the property, they're going to do right by you. They're not going to say, yo, you got to buy the whole thing again. They've already shown that with both Tsushima director's cut and The Last of Us Part 2 remaster. The people that are all like, they're greedy, they're anti-consumer. Yeah, they all say that in the absence of the actual announcements that are like, hey, we understand that a lot of you already own this game, and if you do, it's only $10. I don't think you could ask for a better treatment, like, because they don't have to do that for you at all. They don't have to do that for you at all. They can be like, no, we think it's a new SKU, so just buy it. They don't have to give you the option to upgrade for $10. There's no impetus that forces them to do that. Jiminy Christmas and Dad Gum. Oh, you want those? We're a fan of Dad Gum. We have a Dad Gum emote. Yeah, they refunded Concord. I mean, again, they didn't have to do that. They could have let that game just die a slow death. It wouldn't have taken long. It would have taken like 2 months for nobody to be playing that Dad Gum game. They could have been like, yep, sorry. It's not our fault. You know, it's not my fault. Nobody's playing the game. What do you want from us? We didn't promise you that players would play. You know? Go play something else. Go do something else. Like, they could have easily just let that game die a slow death. Now, they had a business reason to not. They were trying to bring Astrobot to the market. They were trying to announce PS5 Pro. They're trying to announce this 30th anniversary stuff that looks hot. It's got all this nostalgia. And they couldn't have the stink of Concord in the room. I think what they did made perfectly good business sense. Don't get it twisted. I don't think PlayStation was like, we feel bad. We want to do something that is pro-consumer. Pro-consumer is a misnomer. Like, I don't think that what they did was pro-consumer. What they did was pro-PlayStation. Don't get it twisted. Nothing they do is for you. It's for them. They wanted to get Concord stink out of the room. They're like, open up the windows. Whew, get it out of here. Good golly, that game stinks to high heaven. We're trying to walk out with big announcements and a big showing at Tokyo Game Show, and that thing is, that game's carcass is stinking up the room. They did that for themselves. You just happened to benefit from the fact that this was something they needed to do. It was like, we got to get this thing out of here and just give people their money back. At that point, they had already lost so much money. Whatever money they lost through refunds was a drop in the bucket compared to how much they lost from development cost to marketing. Have you seen the AI GT Sobitech? I don't know what that is. Essentially, the AI is indistinguishable from a real player. I do wonder if next-gen and tech will be used in single-player games to simulate players. They save themselves all the headaches possible. Money well spent. The player benefits a bonus. Mm-hmm. I already did a review of your plumbing. I need a quote, man. I don't need to review your... the guy was great. I need a quote, man. He said, quote, later today or tomorrow morning. It's the afternoon. Hellfire with the VIP bumps the line to 110. You guys now only need 90 more members today. And I drop a 50 bomb. We'll see if you guys can get a train going. It's slowed down again. Hellfire says, that's a 24-month or two. That's 2 years. He says, I saw two ladies fighting over the PS5. One knocked the other out. She must have been an ex-boxer. It's been too long for a dad joke. Why would you do that? We were having a good time, too. Chat, can you believe this? We were having a good day. Hellfire. Why would... Frick you, man. We were having a good time. Yeah, you made your account in August. Oh, the frick away. Soul Train says, every journey starts with one step, and he gifts a member. Bumps the line to 111. Get a little single train going. Instaban. Don't go in there and make dad jokes, man. Lona will ban you. Knack Remastered just leaked. PS5 Pro exclusive. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. I love that guy. He's so great. Somebody put a clip of him on Twitter and he got the wrong thing from Taco Bell. And just like his quiet rage about it. It's cinema. It's so good. It's just peak Taco Bell. His quiet rage. I'm a little jealous. I'm like, when I get frustrated, it doesn't look like that. Oh, I love that guy. Having a great day. Thanks to y'all. Much love to everyone. Thank you, Jay. When does the State of Play start? The State of Play starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. I will co-stream it if soccer practice gets canceled. There's a high likelihood that it gets canceled from 1 to 4. I'm seeing pretty heavy thunderstorms, and our practice is at 6. If it rains real heavily before practice, they'll cancel because it's bad for the fields. It turns it into a dadgum swamp. It's just, flat open grass and just a torrent of rain. I don't know if 2 hours will be enough for the fields to dry because it's not going to be very warm and the sun's not going to come out. People scream that they want these old games, and then when they come out, they don't buy them. I mean, they confirmed it after. Confirm what? What are you talking about? I think they have all the research they need. That you need artificial grass. Oh no. I would much prefer to play soccer on real grass. The Lone Wolf says can't gift again. Are there a lot of you trying to gift that can't? Lone Wolf saying he can't gift. I wonder if that's why has gifting slowed down last week. We had a bunch of people saying they couldn't. It slowed down again this week. Like, is it glitching on you guys or something? Like, I'm not trying to freak out or anything, but it's like, man, what happened? Like, we're all of a sudden struggling to do our thing here. We gotta get an email to YouTube if there's stuff's breaking. I tried to get 50, but it didn't work. Oh well. Sue Bear's like, I tried to do like 850. Detonator says I can't. Let me try again. I'm not trying to bait gifts. Like Lone Wolf just said it in the Discord. He's like, I can't gift again. That happened last week. Like a bunch of people said, hey, I was trying to help us scramble for the gauntlet of like me gifting a 50, and they couldn't. We got within like 20. It's really weird for us to get within like 17 or 20 and for it just to stop. I was like, man, we got really close, and it wouldn't let people. It will not allow gifting on mobile or desktop. It just spins and errors out. Really? Yeah, Detective gifts all the time. John always just gifted and went to 8-Bit Pro. Yeah, I mean, Detective Seeds, he gifts all the time here. And he's saying even he's getting a glitch. I tried last week too. Huh. Omar, you tried 10 times that day. And MASH. And a 20 bomb from MASH. MASH is like, it works for me. Good golly, we're in trouble if it doesn't let MASH do it. This guy's always dropping bombs. And a single from Lone Wolf. Yeah, I don't know. Well, wait, Lone Wolf suddenly got it to work. He just said he couldn't get it to work. How'd you get it to work, Lone Wolf? Did mobile finally worked? So Lone Wolf said he kept trying and got mobile to work. Huh. I wonder if that's why people are like, dude, I'm just not going to try. I'm sitting here freaking trying. It seems like some people can, but yeah, I'm unable to. I just tried again, says Detective Seeds. That makes me feel a little bit better, but not that much better if like YouTube's make it to where people can. And British with the 5 bomb. Like sometimes when we get like a little train going, it's like everybody starts throwing their hat in the ring. We get a 5, we get a single, we get a single, we get a 5. And it's like all of a sudden it feels like, wait, is there, and it sounds like something is wrong. And a single from Lone Wolf and a single from DK Bager takes us to 140. Detonator says, I'm trying on desktop and it just spins. John always is on Android. Couldn't believe what Go Gaming said about you and Herman Holst. It's like a parody account. You guys are not supposed to take him serious. He's just trolling. He clearly is joking around. He said that we like vacationed in Paris together. That guy's just goofing around. That got cooked with the Sonic Central. It's pretty dang good. Cool. I didn't even set up a co-stream for it. I didn't even think about. Sorry. I want to send a note to support. I mean, we have a partner manager. I mean, he can look into it, but like, I refreshed twice, says Zubair. If I open the gifting window, it basically hangs. It's spinning on browser. Yeah, more than half the people trying to gift can't gift right now. I mean, I can DM them on Twitter and say, hey, are you guys aware of anything going on right now? How dare you not stream Sonic? Sorry. Let me find them in my DMs. Find them and destroy them. Is there an active issue with gifting memberships? I have a lot of people saying they can't gift and it just spins and hangs when they try. Both desktop and mobile are experiencing this. All right, I just sent a DM to Team YouTube. We'll see. As of September 23, Spyro Reignited Trilogy sold over 10 million units. Okay. Spyro Reignited Trilogy release date. So it came out 5 years ago. AOZ successfully gives a member and gets it to 141. How are you guys getting success? Are you literally just continuing to try? Like, I wondered what happened. I was like, every once in a while, we'll have members slow down. But, like, it came to a screeching halt last week. And I was like, all right, that's okay. And then we started this week. And I'm like, it's happening again. And now I have more people saying they can't gift. That was mobile, but the Safari browser was spinning. Yeah, I mean, Spyro could potentially come back and do something. If they sold 10 million units of the trilogy in 5 years, maybe. That's at least recent. My biggest issue with a lot of the games that I push back on, Peachy Creamy gifts a member. Thank you so much, and takes it to 142. iOS mobile gifting worked. Yeah, but the problem with that is you pay extra because you're paying the Apple tax. Go Gaming said that you and Herman talked about Astrobot being a commercial flop, and you told him to have the state of play to save PlayStation. You know what? I think I'm coming around. I think I need to unblock Go Gaming. I feel like they're so obviously being hyperbolic. Like, it doesn't, I don't know, that doesn't feel mean-spirited. It feels like he's just having a laugh. Like, a lot of these people are mean-spirited. Like, they literally try to hurt my business. They don't want people watching me. They want people to think I'm a grifting shill liar pony. And it's like, it sounds like he's just having a laugh. Joker Quinn gifts a member and bumps the line to 143. You should just play into it. Yeah, the last time he did it, I laughed. I took a screenshot and tweeted it. I thought it was funny. I much prefer people that lean into the character and are just having a fun time. Like, I don't care. Like, a lot of the time, Doc Dark does that with his videos or Twitter. He just leans into it. He's just being a character. Like, I think that's fine. It's when there's malice in it. It's when it's unkind. It's like, this isn't like a mutual, haha, we can all laugh. It's like, you're actively trying to hurt me. Like, that's not something I can respect. He's just a troll? I don't know. It sounds like he's just having a laugh when he says that I've talked about things with Herman Hulse. Like, come on. Thanks for offering your body up to Herman. We appreciate it. Well, I appreciate everybody who's been trying to gift members, guys. I am sorry that it's not working. It sounds like you just have to keep trying or try different browsers or something. It's a bummer that's why we're, seeing such a huge slowdown. Like, usually when I would throw down a gauntlet and I was like, guys, if you hit the goal, I'll drop a 50 bomb. We were consistently doing it. Like, you guys would always rise to the occasion. And I'm like, I have no problem, gift dropping 50 bombs and you guys are going to bring the heat. You know what I mean? What time is it? Yeah, it's 2:26. Yeah, I mean, we can chill. I started late. I started a little bit later today. We've got time. We can hang for another 20 minutes if people are still trying. I mean, there's no reason to rush to Writer's Room. I have it on good authority that you were in Paris. That's right. Crash Bandicoot sold 20 million globally. And a single gift that comes in from Stonespire. Thank you so much, Stonespire. Stonespire's still able to gift. Everybody try right now to gift a single. all 672 of you. Just give it a whirl and see if you can. This Go Game would be harmless if people didn't actually take him seriously and make articles based on what he says. For sure, but is that his fault or is that, a gaming press's fault? And another one comes in from Stonespire. He sets up the 5-bomb dunker to 150. Thank you so much, Stonespire. Many viewers are discussing various topics such as Sonic Central Showcase, Days Gone Remaster, and membership offerings. Don't Nod puts projects on hold as Jusant and Banishers fail to sell. Can't do it on my laptop or rig. I had to do it on my phone. Huh. I wonder what the issue is. They've definitely pushed out some updates. I've had weird behavior on the back end. They've done some weird things. I know they're trying to push out updates. And Belphegor manages to give one. Thank you, Belphegor. I know that they've been trying to push out updates about things. And Roger gifts a member 146. And a 5-bomb comes in. I'm sorry, that was 147, so that would be 152. And a 5-bomb comes in from Luke Vader. See? Some people are able to do it. It's got to be some type of a browser conflict or a regional conflict or something. Maybe Xbox will make an appearance at the State of Play with Forza Horizon 5. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, we were going extremely steady. What was last week's first day of the week? The 16th? Yeah, I can look. It was steady. It was super steady. It was like we'd go up, down, up, down, up, down. And then last week, we flatlined. And now this week, it's happening again. Patrick gifts a member. And it sounds like it's quite literally because people can't do it. And Catwalk gifts a member. Thank you so much. Yeah, I can't make any heads or tails or rhyme or reason out of it. It's like some people can and some people can't. It's super weird. And then as far as upgrading goes, we're sitting at 550. So we're maintaining that number of people that have upgraded to Member Plus and above. He didn't stream Sonic because he grew up a Nintendo guy. You know what's funny is that's actually kind of true. I don't have any nostalgic attachment to Sonic. I wish I loved Sonic, but I was totally Team Nintendo growing up. No, that 100% plays a role. Like if a Mario game comes out, I'm like, what's the game? What's happening? Like, but when a Sonic game's come out, I'm like, okay. Like, I don't dislike Sonic. I just have no nostalgic attachment to him. I'm like, oh, okay. My kids love Sonic because of the movies. They love the movies. Would be a pleasant surprise if T-Lu Part 2 Remaster, they add a DLC to the remasters. Days Gone ETC, not expecting it though. Yeah, I wouldn't expect it. And a single gifted comes in from Alfonso, and he sets up the 5-bomb dunker to 160. Slowly but surely, we're inching our way to 200, boys. We're making it happen. It's just, it's a lot slower than usual because people can't get the dadgum website to work. I'll drop a 50 if we hit it. I will. We hit 100. I'm sorry, we hit 200. I'm dropping a 50 bomb. And you guys have, about 20 minutes to do it. We can keep talking about the State of Play. You guys, Sonic Rumble was announced, it looks like, during the Sonic Showcase. It's a fast-paced battle royale. Oh, so this is the new thing, right? There's the Penguin game like this. It's kind of like inspired by Fall Guys a little bit. And a 20 bomb! And a 20 bomb from MASH sets us up beautifully at 175. Oh boy. Are we gifting memberships? We're trying to. A lot of people are trying to and can't. Thank goodness that MASH still can. He's been a literal champion the last couple of weeks. Like we've had a lot of people suddenly that can't get it to work. They're saying that it just spins. Thank you again for your generosity, Mash. Your support of the channel is just unmatched, man. We very much depend on the memberships. Like, this is not a very big channel. I do this full time. We create a lot of content. We cover a lot of events. We do a lot of live streams. We do morning coffee for members. We do writer's room for members. We do the green room for member plus and above. I do Friday nights with Madam with you guys. Like, we do a lot of content. We really do. I know I've been criticized. People call me an e-beggar and all this stuff. And it's like, if you look at the amount of content that this channel outputs, it is a significant amount of content that is free, and then a significant amount of content for members. So it's well worth it to upgrade to Member Plus. $6 a month gets you into just a mountain of content. I make an equal part amount of member content to free content. My members' content, exceeds what most YouTubers create in a week. Like we deliver a lot of content to you guys. Silly question, how do I gift a membership? If you click the $sign at the bottom of the chat, there should be one. It's a great show, bro. I'm taking a lot of notes. Well, thank you, Lobo. From the beginning, I've appreciated your approach. I appreciate that. Yo, Doomslayer with 21 months. You think we'll see Ghost 2? I think it could be the show ender. Yes. A teaser. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, I think they could do a teaser at the end. I think they kind of need something like that. Can't gift. Let me see if this works. Detonator with the $20 super chat. Why are we being nice to Lono? Hang on. What's this tweet? A special section titled State of Play went up on the PlayStation Store. It currently features the following titles. All right. Thank you. Brooklyn Breed sent me this. Astrobot, Last of Us Part 1, Stellar Blade, Horizon Zero Dawn, Lego Horizon Adventures, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, Monster Hunter Wilds, Metro Awakening, Dynasty Warriors Origins, Fantasian Neo Dimension, Fear the Spotlight, Dragon Age The Veilguard, Sonic Shadow Generations, Alan Wake 2, Hell Is Us. Right? I wonder what that is. Like, do you think those are featured? Last of Us Part 1, Stellar Blade, Horizon Zero Dawn. There you go, Horizon Adventure. See, no, it can't be PS5 Pro enhanced games because you've got games on there that wouldn't be PS5 Pro enhanced. Right? It just looks like games that are going to be featured, potentially. How many games is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. PS5 Pro games? But like, Lego Horizon? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge? There's nothing you can do with Shredder's Revenge PS5 Pro. That's like old school side scroller, like Turtles in Time classic, like art style. Yeah, I don't know. Shredder's Revenge just got DLC. There's gonna be like 20 games at the thing, right? This is probably 15 of them. This is probably 15 of the 20. VIP from Detective Seeds. That bumps the line and gets us to 176. Thank you so much. Why would T-Lu Part 1 be on there? We already have a PC port and a remake. Not sure why it's on the list. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they use it to... Yeah, because they used Part 2 to debut PS5 Pro enhancements in the thing with Cerny, so I don't know. I don't know why Part 1 would be on there. Probably just a sale. But it's a special section titled State of Play. So, Silent Hill 2 on the list? No, Alan Wake 2 is on the list. Hell Is Us, Sonic's X Shadow Generations, Dragon Age Veilguard, Fear the Spotlight, Fantasian Neo Dimension, Dynasty Warrior Origins, Metro Awakening, Monster Hunter Wilds, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, Lego Horizon Adventures, Horizon Zero Dawn, Stellar Blade, Last of Us Part 1. You think they're updating Part 1 with Part 2's assets? What assets? Specifically? Is it storming? It sounded like my house, like... My house, like, creaked. Somebody's in the house. I don't see any State of Play on my PlayStation. Yeah, they're saying it's on the PlayStation Store, like the PlayStation website store. Yeah, I don't know where they're seeing this. Do they have a screenshot? Oh yeah, here's your screenshot right here. State of Play. Metro Awakening VR is on there. Fear the Spotlight is on there. It's fake? This is fake? Can you find this page? That's just a screenshot on Twitter. This guy is the PlayStation Plus content acquisition guy, and he said today's the day, smiley face. And he retweeted the PlayStation Plus I'm sorry, the State of Play announcement. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be major either. I think it's going to be like a quick barrage of games. And I think it's going to be a lot of non-first party games. I mean it. I really do. I think it's going to be a lot of non-first party games. That's just kind of PlayStation's MO right now, is to lean heavily on third and second party relationships. So if you guys have not done so yet, do me a favor and smash the like button. We're going to keep hanging out and talking about the PlayStation State of Play, my expectations. People are saying what they hope to see, what they hope not to see. Let's try to get 50 more likes in the video. I swear I keep hearing something in my house and no one's here. Well, I don't know what I'm hearing. It's not the air conditioning and it's not the ice machine. Halo 2 mechanics in part 1 would break the game design. Yeah, they already spoke to that. Go check your pipes. No, it's not that. Ice Maker again. Ice Maker dude gave me a freaking heart attack the one time. Pipes bursting. You guys have me paranoid now. Give me a second. There's nothing. There's nothing. I mean, the air conditioner is running. So, I mean, maybe it kicked on and that's what I heard. I typically don't hear it, though. Nothing. House is dead quiet. Doors are locked. I don't know what I'm hearing. Before I went live, I thought I heard something. And I was like, did my wife come back? It's got to be something outside that's like, I've got to be, maybe somebody's working or something And like the way the sound's traveling, like it sounds like it's in the home. Because like there's nothing in the house. There's nothing going on. I don't know. We can all agree we don't need a TLU 1 worked on again unless it's a pro update. Yeah, I mean, but they used part 2 for the PS5 Pro announcement video. So I honestly don't know. With the storm front coming, there's likely a change in barometric pressure outside. If all your windows and doors are closed, there will be pressure change, which can make popping and creaking sounds. It kind of sounded like that. It sounded like when it's like windy outside and your house kind of does like that. It's like you can almost hear the house moving. That's what it sounded like. So that might be what it is. That might be what it is. Yeah, Ubisoft canceled their press previews of Assassin's Creed Shadows until further notice. Yeah. I think it's because every time they poke their head out, they make it worse. Gonna go with ghost faces in your house? Yeah, it's far more likely that our house is haunted. Anyway, we're going to stay live for about 10 more minutes. You guys need 24 more members, but a lot of people can't gift. So we're going to see if we can't hit the goal, and I'll drop a 50 bomb. Take a quick second and make sure that you've given the video a like. There is still 660 people here. Really strong turnout today in anticipation of the state of play. Take a quick second. Let's try to hit 500 likes as a milestone. Why does it feel like no game has managed to get fog right since the PS2? These people have never been outside and it shows. They don't think the fog in Silent Hill 2 looks good. That's like one of the things from the Silent Hill 2 footage that does look good. Houses breathe due to the temperature change outside. That's probably what it is, because there is a storm front coming in. We're about to get drenched for like 4 straight hours. So the temperature's dropping. P. Dudley renews. That's a member plus. That counts. Member plus and VIP renewals count. If you upgrade to member plus or to VIP, that counts as 2. I count upgrades as 2. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered, pre-ordered now, available December 10th. Is that real? Did that actually get officially announced? Oh yeah, it leaked. It looks like it leaked, yeah. Yeah, it comes out December the 10th. Is it? The trailer makes it look like it's just PS4 and PS5. Is this going to be a multi-plat game? No, it's coming to the PS5 and the PS4. Is that a PlayStation game? Is that from the era that I missed out on? When did those games come out? $1999. PlayStation 2 game. And then 2011. Yeah, that's why I didn't play those. Why are they doing remasters and not remakes if they're that old? If they're that old? Yeah, this doesn't look like something that I would play and enjoy. If it's, I know it's a classic and people are probably going to love it, but I don't. It doesn't look like something that I would play because it's just a remaster of, you know, of a 25-year-old game. I feel like I feel like at that old you should be remaking it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like with what you could do with that game and like the look and vibe of the protagonist. I feel like it should be a remake. I'm sure like fans of the game will be thrilled, but like folks like me that never played it, it's like I don't really see a reason to play it. Just not my jam. Same thing happened to the Tomb Raider collection. Will I be covering the state of play? I want to, T-Tube, and right now I can't tell you if I can or not because there's a big storm coming in, and if it rains for like 4 hours straight and it's like thunderstorms and stuff, they might cancel soccer practice tonight because it turns the fields into just a swamp. The water just sits there, and it's like, the water just sits there. Loto's hyping this DLC up so we can roast it later to not meet expectations. This video is not hype at all, but okay. My Shattered Space, like, video and calling it like a 1.0 moment, that is not even remotely a hype video. I'm not hyping it up so I could bash it later. When is it? The state of play is 5 hours from now. It's exactly 5 hours from now. So wherever you are in the world, look at your clock, add 5 hours. That's when it's going to be taking place. YouTube's looking into it. They said, thank you for letting us know. We're looking into this right now. So guys, if you've been trying to gift members and you haven't been able to, YouTube's going to look into it for me. They'll reach out if they need more details. So we've got, I'll give you guys 7 minutes. 7 minutes to get 23 more members. If you hit it, I'll drop a 50 bomb, and then we'll go hang out in the writer's room. Today's a great day to upgrade to Member Plus or VIP because it counts as double, and we will probably end up doing a green room stream to play some games. I've been loving Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I actually got the rig in the living room. I decided to figure out what was wrong with it. It just needed to update to the latest version of Steam, and it kept telling me that it was, and I was like, this doesn't look like the latest version of Steam. So I manually updated it, and it fixed all the problems that I was having. So I was playing Deep Rock on my TV last night, and I took the rig apart and blew the dust out. I think the fan I was hearing was the power supply. It was really dusty down there, and it sounded fine last night. It didn't get loud at all. How do remakes and remasters fit into your philosophy of sequels versus new IP? I really like when I see remakes and remasters within games that are either really, really old and can then be great fan service for the people that loved them. So I think that's totally fine. Like if people are super excited and they're like, man, you know, I'm so glad they're doing this, I think that's fine. I also think I like it when, like the way they did it with The Last of Us, they brought really, really great games, what I consider to be masterpiece video games, up to modern fidelity so that I was able to enjoy them at the thresholds that I consider to be my standard. And I also know they're making another one. Like if I know you're making another one, like Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm like, that's totally fine. Bring it up. Bring it up to that modern fidelity. Deep Rock's that good that it hooked you? Yeah, Paul, I've shouted you out every time you gifted it to me. I had been meaning to check it out because I love Survivor games, so I had been meaning to check it out. So I appreciated you gifting it to me. But yeah, you know, I don't ever really have an issue with remasters or remakes. I definitely think there are times where a remake makes more sense, like with the game that we just looked at. It's like, that's a 25-year-old game. Why didn't you just remake it? A remaster? Like, I don't feel like it's going to age all that well. Yeah, like the Silent Hill 2 thing, the things they've done with some of the Resident Evil games, I feel like those have been really, really cool. And people have really, really enjoyed them. I enjoyed the one Resident Evil remake. Which one was it? Was it Resident Evil 2 that I like so much? Oh, Redacted's releasing October 28th. I thought that looked really fun. Go unlock all the characters in Death Must Die. Grandpa. I'm liking Deep Rock more, Wheeze. If I get burned out on Deep Rock, I'll go back into Death Must Die, but yeah. And poor Mash is going to have to do it all by himself. And a 10 bomb from Mash gets us to 187. Somebody help him out. We only need 13 more. Don't make Mash do it all on his own. We do have YouTube looking into it. If you guys cannot gift members, I am sorry that it's not working. I am glad that you guys told me. I was getting a little freaked out. I was like, man, oh man, we're in a bit of a dry spell. Legacy of Kain is an Activision IP. Is that who owns it? What is this thing that Helldivers announced? Breaking today. After intense research, construction of the Democracy Space Station is ready to begin. And a single comes in from Stonespire. And a VIP renewal comes in from RPG. And that gets us to 189. And Riddish with the 20 bomb says, all right, fine. I'll do it. I will help out. Gets us to 209. I owe you guys a 50 bomb. Jiminy Christmas. This freaking thing won't work, and we're still making it work. So Helldiver says the DSS will be a powerful strategic tool for reshaping the galactic map, democratically directed by the Helldivers themselves. To achieve this, an orbital construction site must be secured. 2 planets have large enough magnetospheres for safe construction. Galever and Klasa. Okay, so you're going to be building a Democracy Space Station in Helldivers. I wonder what that's going to bring about. Raven, you dodged all. Let's see if you can dodge this. Let me do a 50 bomb. Which... okay, it went through. I was like, ah. I just heard another sound, and I could definitely tell it was outside. I think the storm is starting. There's the 50 bomb. Let's get you in here. Okay. Ward Huff with the member plus push us a little bit further. Thank you so much. That takes us to 210. Did I miss anybody else during the 50? No, okay. All right, let me set up writer's room. Oh gosh, we got to go fast. We got to go fast. I don't like these streams being longer than 3 hours. I got to set up writer's room really quickly, and we got to get out of here. I'll spam a link in chat. Give me just a quick second here. No, I've not had a chance to try Peglin. Yeah, we can't gift to specific people just yet. We don't have the ability to do that. Peglin did look really, really cool. You can play it on Steam, right? I do want to give that one a try. All right, let's get out of here. I'm paid up. All my members hit. I paid up. There's a link in chat for the Writers Room. If you can't come to Writers Room, consider becoming a member yourself. Consider upgrading to Member Plus. If you do pick up your own membership, pick Member Plus, because that gets you into all of the content. Thanks so much for being a member. You may have gotten gifted a member today. We're on pace to hit the goal. We did find out why membership slowed down so much. YouTube's having an issue. A lot of people can't gift. I have them looking into it. I know a lot of you have tried. Once they resolve it, we'll probably have a monsoon of gifted. So thank you to everybody who's continued to gift and support the channel directly. I paid out a 50 bomb today that I owed you guys. I'm going to end the previous stream about the state of play expectations. I may be co-streaming it tonight. Keep in touch in the Discord or on the channel. If there's enough rain, I won't have soccer practice. I'm going to end the previous stream and redirect people over, and then I'll make sure and change that thumbnail so it no longer says that we are live. Thank you guys so